Alright, and we are live with Talk Thursday
Episode 36.
There you go, Steve. You finished that before I could finish it. I'm your host, Dr. also known as David.
With your co-host, Rating Death 909, also known as Kenneth. And thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening, December 14th.
Barbecue sauce is kind of spicy for some reason. It just tastes spicy. I don't know.
We're eating wings.
Yes. And drinking wine out of sake and then off Sonic drinks. They're kind of like the new cups because they had the old Sonic cups for like 2 years, 3 years, honestly. This is kind of cool. Kind of cute. I need to pull up these stories and let's just get you going on your first story. So you want to pull up this picture right here. Or you want to pull up that?
Yeah, that picture right there.
This one?
Yeah.
This thing?
Mm-hmm.
This is an homage image. That's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like somebody drew a shitty picture of MS Paint.
Yeah. We're just getting some things arranged for the first story. So, in lighter Christmas news to start us off. Okay.
Yeah.
Where's the picture?
Where's it at? All formats.
Yeah.
All formats. What did this save as? This saved us a weird thing. JPEG underscore large. Weird.
Did it say this?
Yeah, it saves us some weird thing.
Apparently underscore dot large. That's weird. You just gotta rename the end.
I suppose, yeah.
No, you have to rename the file. I guess that works too.
Will that work? That looks like that might work.
Yep.
I've never heard of a JPEG large.
I think they just did really poor formatting.
I don't think it didn't do anything.
Well, it's in your downloads folder. Your downloads random.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just click on it.
No, it's not. It's in my pictures folder where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, picture.
And I did .jpg.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. It's supposed to be here.
No.
No, it's pictures and then random.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, folks.
A little bit, yeah. Okay.
There you go. Yep.
And let's see if it will actually confine to the correct space. Ish.
There we go. It's a bit too high. Can you lower it down?
Make it smaller because it's a fucking tall picture. That's what it is. So there you go.
So, in early news, giant Christmas tree appears over Germany. A pilot got into a festive mood by flying his plane in the shape of a Christmas tree in the skies over Germany, radar watchers have spotted. So as you can see here, flying from Hamburg all throughout Germany. And I love how he did the little loops around the towns and such for the ornaments.
Yep. That's kind of funny.
I mean, that's freaking cool.
Is this a passenger plane?
Yeah, it was like a large plane. It wasn't carrying any passengers. It was, so it says here, the pilot left the city of Hamburg and traced the pattern, complete with lights, as he flew from Stuttgart about 400 miles away, before returning 5 hours later. Mm-hmm. Let me see what the, because this was part of a specific, test flight.
Oh, because I was wondering, I was like, why is that, why is he just flying its plane around?
It was a test flight from Airbus, from one of their flight test teams.
Oh,
I mean, that's pretty freaking cool. Yeah. That they let him do that in one of their large planes.
That's kind of, yeah.
And that it happened.
Indeed, did it happen? Y'all can't sing. It's not always good. There we go. Alrighty. And then on to the next story. Latest in our coverage on the whole Jerusalem, Palestine,
Peace
Palestine.
In the Middle East.
Yeah.
Peace of the Middle East.
The best joke of 20 every year since 2001. Haha. If you get that reference. Anyway, Palestinians will not accept any U.S. role in peace process from now on, says Muhammad Abbas. More than 50 Muslim nations have come together to reject and condemn U.S. President Donald Trump's decisions to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, calling the U.S. unfit to lead future peace talks in the region. Well, especially right now.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. As long as Trump's in office, we're unfit to do a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, as we've covered in the past, folks, that he's been killing the diplomatic branch and replacing that with the military.
I mean, I'm sure all the army buffs, like all the old Warhawks, get their dick hard from
he's also been replacing a lot of his cabinet with military folks. I mean, his chief of staff, and his other various leadership roles, they're all former military.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a bit of key members. So, I mean, they have such a high influence over him. Because Trump doesn't really know shit.
No.
He gets all of his knowledge from his advisors.
That guy, if his advisor, Trump, hire that guy. Okay. This guy right here tells you this is the best man for this.
Yeah, pretty much. That and his son-in-law, of course, which is a senior advisor.
Yes.
He was the one also carrying out a lot of these peace in the Middle East talks.
Yep. The resulting Istanbul Declaration of Freedom for Al-Quds. An extraordinary organization of Islamic cooperation, OIC, meeting was held in Istanbul on Wednesday in order to coordinate and counter the Muslim world's response to Trump administration's decision. Interesting. Again, as I was saying, the results of the Istanbul Declaration on Freedom for Al-Quds, which is that Al-Qaeda or Al-Quds? What is that even realistically? The Arabic name for Jerusalem. Weird. Calls the move null and void, and calls on the whole world to recognize an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its occupied capital. Well, obviously, because that's what they would want. Anyway, addressing the 57-member strong conference, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas said the Palestinians will no longer accept any American role in the Middle East peace talks at all, or in the Middle East peace process at all. His comments were echoed by the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, as I call him, or Erdogan, who said the U.S. role is now over in brokering peace in the region. Oh, don't count us out just yet. Mr. Trump's announcement last week, however, upends decades of U.S. policy. The previous U.S. position had been to clarify the status of Jerusalem in a final peace agreement as per the terms of the 1993 Oslo Accords.
So we've not only broken the 93 Oslo Accords, we've also broken the 67 peace treaty that ended the war between Israel and Palestine. So, yeah, he's done fucked up with his Middle East politics. Because he's got Saudi Arabia on his ass, which is, of course, our major oil ally. Turkey, which is NATO's biggest ally. They provide the second largest military to NATO, outside of us, of course. They're also key in controlling the flow of immigrants from the Middle East to Europe. And is overall a very powerful state that's been a close ally of the United States for decades. Of course, under Erdogan, that has gone back quite a lot. Yeah. Trump's just doing all kinds of good things.
Only the goodest of things.
Maybe with that picture.
Oh, yes. Goodbye, Christmas tree. All festive as you are.
So, Tanzania pardons 2 child rapists and calls for the arrest of pregnant schoolgirls.
Well,
You do you, Tanzania, by which I mean don't. Activists accuse governments of encouraging human rights violation as President Magufuli releases convicted abusers of 10 primary school children. Activists accused Tanzania's leaders of promoting a culture of human rights violations as the release of 2 high-profile child rapists this week coincide with a call for pregnant schoolgirls to be arrested. John Magufuli, the Tanzanian president, pardoned the 2 men who were convicted of rape of 10 primary school children between the ages of 6 and 8.
What? Excuse me? How old?
6 and 8. Yes.
Woo! High Kick ain't got nothing on those men. That's pretty bad, though. Like, really bad. Like,
and they were just released.
Wow. And, like, now they're gonna... those women are pregnant. They can't even, like, feasibly have...
This is different girls, but they're relating the stories. Because there's a pregnant girls who've probably been raped, obviously. Most likely, because that's would be pregnant. And now then... So they're calling for their arrest at the same time that they're releasing child rapists. Yeah.
These women coerce the men to rape them. That's probably what they're going to say, or something like that.
That's probably what they would say.
That's how the Middle East operates.
This isn't even the Middle East. This is Africa.
Your ankles weren't
This
covered.
is Africa.
Is this Africa?
Yeah.
Every place... I mean, they're all not first world nations, so they're all kind of bad.
Yeah. Then again, America is technically a first world nation.
Who is?
America. But we're also suffering through massive amounts of poverty, homelessness. I was reading a story earlier this week that the UN is actually in the United States looking at some of the poorest areas in the nation, and seeing a resurgence of like a ringworm, which they basically say happens in areas where there's poor like sewage and water systems, which is noted in a lot of poor, underdeveloped areas, which they're seeing in America, which is clearly an issue.
Well, you get ringworm from a lot of those.
I don't know if it was ringworm specifically, but they said it...
It was probably something else, because ringworm, like, you can just get ringworm from just being hot and sweaty and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it was something else. It was some kind of worm, or some kind of parasite.
Okay, because ringworm's not a parasite. That's what I was going to say. The common misconception is ringworm is actually just a rash. It's not a parasite. You're thinking those might be roundworms or hookworms or something.
Yeah, hookworms.
Hookworms, yes, which are a big deal in Africa and a lot of places.
Yes, and they're making a resurgence here in America. Even though we thought we had eradicated them.
That's scary.
Yes, because our poor areas of the country are deeply underserved of proper sewage and such. And they were literally saying in the story that these like mobile homes or whatever, they just have pipes straight from their toilets to a ditch. And then they're saying, well, it floods a lot, so the ditch overflows, and then they even said sometimes it flows into the house.
Gross.
And then they say, well, the hookworms are in the water and in the grass. So then you walk through, and apparently they can jump like freaking like midway up your leg.
Can they actually jump? See, I know that hookworms, like the biggest thing about hookworms and stuff in those Middle Eastern countries, or not Middle Eastern, but other countries, I mean, like Africa and stuff, is that you don't go around barefoot.
Yeah,
because hookworms will burrow into your foot.
Yes, they said that was an issue, but they also said like from your ankle, like they can get like slightly above your ankle, like a few inches. Mm-hmm. I guess they get on like grass or whatever while you're walking through, But it's just like, God, that's ridiculous.
And I think they're fast too. Like you can't rip them off you. And then hookworms are a pain because they travel throughout your body.
Yeah. And they basically say that they end up in the digestive tract, and it just continues the process continues.
Yeah, because it lays eggs and you poop them out. Blah, blah. How parasites work.
Yeah, and I also said that in the particular county they surveyed, which was the poorest county in the poorest state, which I think was Mississippi. I don't remember the county. Where
does Mississippi have counties or parishes?
They better have counties. I'm calling them that. I don't care if they have parishes.
I don't care if it's a parish at this point.
I don't respect Louisiana. But yeah, they were saying how that the average cost of a septic tank was like $15,000, and that was like the household income of a house in that area.
How much is it?
$15,000.
Jesus Christ, that's low. I mean, that's low.
I guess it mustn't be a very good septic tank, but enough to...
No. I'm saying it's a low amount of pay. If that's how are they able to survive?
Well, that's why they have freaking PVC pipe running to a ditch and not proper sewage.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
That's so I mean, it was ridiculous that it's happening in America.
$15,000 septic tank. I think it's kind of expensive.
15.
Yeah, that's what I said. Kind of expensive.
I guess I don't know. I live in a city, so I don't have septic tanks.
We have 2 septic tanks. We have to get them pumped out.
Yeah, and that's an extra cost, I assume.
It is.
So they have to afford that as well. Anyways, back to Tanzania. So, yes.
Tasmanians.
Yes, the Tasmanians. Fazal Mohammed, the director of Equality Now's Africa office, said while President Magufuli is pardoning convicted child rapist, Regional Commissioner John Mongela is calling on pregnant schoolgirls to be arrested and taken to court. Tanzania's leaders are promoting a culture of human rights violations in which young victims of sexual violence are being punished while perpetrators are going free. She said the policy of banning pregnant schoolgirls, often victims of rape or sexual coercion, failed to address the issues of those who impregnated them. So literally, she's saying there that pregnant schoolgirls cannot go to school. They are banned from going to school. It's ridiculous.
That's pretty fucked up.
It's unacceptable that a convicted child molester walks free by the order of a president who simultaneously denies victims of assault access to education if they become pregnant. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's absolutely correct. It's ridiculous that in this day and age that this could happen anywhere. And that may be my modern sensibilities talking, but fucking Africa, get on the goddamn ball. You know, just because you're a third world nation or whatever doesn't mean you get to act like a freaking 16th century nation.
I don't even think... Well, no. I guess I did do stuff like that.
Well, then again, girls couldn't get educated in the 16th century.
Yeah.
Fine, 18th century.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. You made it
She
a
was
whole...
raped. She's a witch.
Burn her.
Burn her. No, don't. Because they might.
Oh, gosh. Well, they kill albinos.
Yeah.
Poor albinos. They either think they're curses or they think that their body parts are lucky. Either way, albinos get killed quite often.
They get killed and butchered. They're like for
brutally.
Yep.
I mean, you'll just hear stories out of Africa of just a group of angry people, angry townsfolk. God, they sound like freaking going after Frankenstein's monster. But yeah, no, there'll be just a group of angry townsfolk going at them with butcher knives and just chopping them up alive.
Ooh.
It's disturbing.
Sounds like my place to be. Anyway, on that topic.
Continuing our discussion of the Rohingya crisis.
Yep. At least 6,700 Rohingya Muslims killed in 1 month, says Doctors Without Borders. We've covered stories from them or about them multiple times in the year. They're a great group of people. Aid agency says killings carried out in August and September are part of ethnic cleansing condemned by UN, as we spoke about here. International aid groups Doctors Without Borders said its field survey has found at least 6,700 Rohingya Muslims were killed between August and September in a crackdown by Burma's security forces. The group said in a statement made available Thursday that it had conducted the survey in refugee camps in Bangladesh and estimated that at least 6,700 Rohingya died in Burma's Rakhine state between the 25th of August and the 24th of September, which is, was it a month? Isn't that backwards?
Yeah.
No, it is, yeah. That's August and September. Anyway. International aid and rights groups have accused the military of arson, killings, and rapes of Rohingya villagers. Burmese authorities blame Rohingya militants for the violence.
And as we've covered, it's pretty damn clear that it's the freaking military carrying it out.
Now, to be fair, like as some people have told me about some of the history, the militants were a problem before, and they've been a problem for a while. And so that's why a lot of these people are revolting and doing this.
Yes, to give a bit more background, the Rohingya people have never been officially recognized as citizens of Burma. Burma says they're Bangladeshi, and Bangladesh says they're Burmese. Because neither country wants them, even though the Rohingya have lived in Burma for centuries. They've never been officially recognized as citizens. So, of course, when you don't have access to government education or services or anything because the government refuses to acknowledge your existence, people might get mad at that. Just a little bit. Which prompted these militants to
to terrorism.
Yeah, commit terrorism.
Which is one of those things I try to tell people everywhere is that like the war on terror is kind of a joke to me because you'll never get rid of terror.
I mean, part of the problem with the war on terror is that, you go out, with your drones, you bomb a village or a group of people, and it's like, oh, you've killed somebody's brother accidentally. Or you killed a wedding party. America.
Or you've killed a mosque full of children. America.
Also America. Yes, just generally America. And then you end up as like, oh my gosh, America has killed my family members. You know what? Fuck America, let's go kill them all. That's exactly what happens.
The whole death to America.
These people who probably would have been on our side had we not killed their family members.
Well, so I wouldn't say that necessarily. They just wouldn't have
they wouldn't have been actively fighting against us.
Yeah, because their whole religion teaches them to hate the East or whatever, or the West rather.
Yeah.
Western culture, blah blah blah. But there's people. There's still. I met some free thinking, Middle Easterners, and they're decent people.
Mm-hmm.
I talk with them, and they're like, I think the whole thing's stupid and just bad for everybody. And I'm like, I like you. But then again, we have Americans that are like that. They're like super hyper Christian, like the West Pro Baptist Church people, and like those kind of groups, and they're basically the same thing. They're basically terrorists. They are actually, but
I don't know if they're recognized as a terrorist group. I don't think they are.
They're not because they're Christian, but they do stuff for political gain, like that.
They protest. They're within the bounds of the law.
No, they do violent protests though. Sometimes they actually do incite violence.
I'm sure they incite violence, but...
Which is, you're not supposed to do. You can't incite violence.
Yeah. People get violent at them because of what they're saying.
Yeah, that too.
But their message is horrible, and they're hateful people, and they, just generally bad. Yep. But you just ignore them.
I suppose. Yes. Well, no, because they've also been to, people's funerals and,
they
threw stuff, and they've done all sorts of stuff.
I don't know if do they throw stuff?
They've legitimately not just shown up.
Because I know they tried to barricade processions from getting to the cemetery.
Yeah,
which is yeah. I guess the cops were called, I assume. Yeah. I hope.
But anyway, back to the story. The Pekin deaths coincides with the launch of the latest clearance operations by Burma security forces in the last week of August. MSF medical director Sidney Wong, Teehee. In a statement, that's what she was saying in a statement, okay. MSF said that among children below the age of 5, more than 59% who were killed during that period were reportedly shot. Jesus. That's 60. Whew. That's 6 out of 10 children were shot.
Yeah. Can anybody who sees that honestly say, that, oh no, it was the militants who were doing that? Shooting their own children. What the fuck, Burma? Do you think that we're all idiots? That we honestly can't see what you're doing here?
Have you seen the global perception of America?
No.
Realistically, I don't know. I tried to use that in the Australian server today. I was like, dude, I'm American. Do you ever think I'm that dumb? He's like, well, by what you just said, of course. And I was like, no, we're much more smarter than you, penal colony. Anyway, and then he was trying to say we came over from we were from Bible scrubs. I was like, no, we've technically originated. Part of it's from Bible scrubs, but the other half is just the British colonies coming over and wanting more land.
Yeah, we're still a majority Protestant nation, and that's the Puritan part of it.
15% burnt to death in their homes, 7% beaten to death, and 2% died due to landmine blasts. MSF said the numbers of deaths are likely to be an underestimation, as we have not surveyed all refugee resettlements in Bangladesh because the surveys don't account for families who never made it out of Burma. Scary. I'm going to go ahead and just move this down because it triggers me.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Who said you could make edits? I'm pretty sure you shouldn't have that power.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding, you shouldn't. It's fine.
I was just
yeah, I know.
It didn't really fuck up anything else either. So
no, it doesn't. Just...
Play video, which you hyperlinked.
Mm-hmm. Getting better.
Munchausen by proxy.
Yes, interesting disease. Terrible.
I forget what that is. I feel like I recognize the name.
I'll explain it when we get to that story.
Yeah.
So, In good news for weed, medical marijuana has no public health risks. WHO declares, which WHO is the...
Ooh, the UN declares. Because that's the UN's agency.
The World Health Organization.
Yep, that's the UN's agency on everything.
Yep, they're the ones who go around and do global studies on health and medicine and also provide aid and such.
They also, provide aid for vaccines and diseases and whatnot.
Yep, they're a very good organization. And if they say it's good, you can't... DEA, give it up! You're fighting a losing battle.
Pretty much.
Also, Jeff Sessions. Fuck off, Jeff Sessions.
Speaking of Jeff Sessions and people, did you know that Rick Perry and Abbott were down in Bay City?
Really? Recently?
Yeah. To commemorate Daenerys opening up. I posted about it in fucking...
Yeah, I saw that, but I mean, was that recent?
Yeah, it was like last week. It's in the newspaper.
Damn. I should have gone over there and yelled at them.
Is Abbott confined to a wheelchair?
Is he?
Somebody was. I think it's Abbott.
I don't know. I don't really... Maybe?
I just kind of surprised that Rick Perry and them came. Like, Rick Perry's not the governor anymore.
No, but he's still an influential political person. Got to get that.
But why did they come to Daenerys?
Because, well, actually, Rick Perry had a big influence in getting them here, if memory serves. Because he was really trying to court them to come to Texas, of course, because it was a multi-billion-dollar operation. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, our city gave them huge tracts of land and no taxes for the next 50, 30 years. So
they screwed over our city, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure he wanted to come here anyways, just to see how great he did.
Making America great, one step at a time.
Yeah.
Again.
I don't know. Check that out while I'm checking this story, because I have to know now. Because I think he might be. I've read a thing, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so WHO has declared medical marijuana is beneficial for cancer, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other diseases. The organization found the drug is not addictive and holds no public health risks. This is fantastic news for medical marijuana. And marijuana in general.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, no, I can't. It won't even let me off the page.
Well, there we go.
But yeah, he does. That's why he uses it too.
As a state, we...
I don't understand.
I guess keep scrolling down. Keep on. Wait, I think it's set up there in the middle.
Here's why he uses a wheelchair. Nothing.
Appeared on camera in a wheelchair. He's partially paralyzed.
Yeah. After an oak tree, which had become weak, fell on him during his run.
Well, interesting. I never actually seen him.
I saw pictures of him, the mayor, Perry, and some other dudes, and I assumed the last person, I was like, is that Perry? Is that Abbott? Is he in a wheelchair? I was like, geez, okay.
Oh, no.
The more you know.
We should get that on an animation. Just play that.
It's below my budget.
And yet you couldn't have the time to do the damn anime thing.
Below my budget.
I'll buy a Stream Deck. So you just have it here. Actually, they've added folders, and they've added folders within folders. So you can have like a couple thousand different freaking things. That'd be cool. I just have it right here. Just tap.
I still think if I really wanted to do it, I could just get an application that lets me put macros on a regular keyboard.
Yeah, but
I can go use my keyboard.
Yeah, but the nice thing about it is that you get that graphical picture, you know.
They're all going to be different like flavors of dicks. I'm just going to turn them all into dicks. We need the fleshy, bulgy one. Oh, what is it? What am I looking at? That's the fleshy, bulgy one. That'd be hilarious.
So, the World Health Organization has declared that CBD, the relaxant property of cannabis used in medical marijuana, should not be a scheduled drug. Thank you for that. Ooh.
I mean, they're not saying that marijuana should be okay. They're saying
Actually, they continue.
Oh, okay.
But today, after months of deliberation and investigation, the WHO has concluded that cannabinoid is a useful treatment for epilepsy and palliative care and does not carry any addiction risk. Had the WHO...
Wow, somebody just came out and said marijuana's not addictive. Right there.
Yeah.
Now, it could be addictive just because people's addictive personality, but realistically, it's not addictive. It's not addictive.
It in itself is not inherently addictive.
However, getting the high or whatever, that helps you get through life, that's addicting. I don't know.
It can be. Like I said, it depends on the personality.
Like, I'm super depressed all the time, so like maybe it would work. I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't know. I mean, isn't weed generally considered a downer?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I think it'd have an opposite of intended.
Everything makes me fall asleep. That's it. Drinking alcohol makes me tired.
Well, so that makes sense.
Makes me tired. Everything makes me tired. Living makes me tired. Let's be real here.
Yep. Let's see. Had the WHO chosen?
Had the
WHO? That great band.
Or I was gonna say, or are we talking about Dr. Seuss's? The Grinch.
Oh yes. Chosen to schedule the drug, it would have hamstrung physicians from prescribing medical marijuana globally. The report published today also recommended imposing the strongest restrictions possible on fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that has killed thousands of people in America's drug addiction epidemic. Fentanyl, folks, is extremely dangerous.
Yep, very bad.
No question. A fingertip's worth of it can kill you. It takes next to nothing from fentanyl. It is 100 times more powerful than standard opiates. Opiates. Whatever.
I was like, what did you... you were going somewhere with that, and they're opium apes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is extremely deadly. They've added that the current information does not justify scheduling of cannabinoid, and have declared that taking medical marijuana will not lead to addiction to THC, the psychoactive property of cannabis. Cannabis that induces a high. So, DEA, ATF, start fixing that shit.
Who is it that actually does it? Is it the ATF?
Well, I think ATF... Well, it's the DEA mainly. I think ATF has some jurisdiction.
So who schedules it?
DEA.
Is it the DEA?
Yeah. Yeah, the DEA schedules it and enforces it. And I think ATF sometimes comes in, but not too often, but it's mainly the DEA.
Yeah.
So, fuck off, DEA. Unschedule that shit.
Unschedule the sweet, sweet victory that is the marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. And now on to U.S. News. Mesquite police ignored Graham Dyer's fatal injuries, filing say. When Mesquite police arrived at a local middle school late on a summer night in 2013, Graham Dyer was pounding his head on the ground. Okay. Earlier witnesses reported seeing him ram his head into a building. A friend explained that the 18-year-old was experiencing a bad LSD trip. I know! I'm not going in there!
Who goes to middle school to have an LSD trip?
Well, there's some stories about it. I know people around here that, grabbed dropped LSD and then just walked around. And, I heard stories of people ending up inside trees and all sorts of other things. So, LSD is really bad. LSD is one of those things that you want to take.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You want to take with a friend that's already taken it before. It's called a spirit guide. Is what a lot of people use it as a term. It's funny and it's old fashioned, but it's true. You want to have somebody that's experienced and that can help you out if you go on a bad trip. It's probably better if they're not tripping at the same time, but man. Anyway. Police had a legal duty to care for their prisoners, and after Dyer was handcuffed, 2 medics were called to the scene. But their evaluation was brief. No report of his exam was created, and they quickly left. One Mesquite officer later termed the medics worthless.
I just love that. It's hey, we called a medic onto the scene to try and help with this guy who's clearly having some shit going wrong. And I was good enough, whatever, we're out. And I was fucking worthless medics.
Yep. While being loaded into a cruiser, Dyer banged his head several times against the car. During the first mile of the drive to the city jail, he slammed his head 19 times against the side door, back seat, or metal cage separating the cars front and back. Jeez, he literally pounded his head into non-existent oblivion.
Yeah.
Some police departments call for a medical evaluation after taser use. Instead of diverting to the emergency room a half-mile away, however, the officers resumed driving. No additional restraints were applied, and during the second half of the trip, Jair hit his head against the car's interior 27 more times.
Yes, because as a part of this, they after the first 19 head slams inside the car, they pulled over and tried to restrain him, and they tasered him in the balls.
Oddly specific, but alright.
That's what it says.
Does it say, is that what it says?
It doesn't say here, but it's a part of the product.
Okay. At the jail, officers unloaded the handcuffed and leg-tied Dyer onto the Sally Port floor outside the jail. There, they watched him bang his head again on the concrete, but Jesus fucking Christ.
All of these officers who just see this shit, the medics who didn't do shit.
So the medics came originally. He probably didn't bust his head up enough, honestly.
No, but clearly the police would have been like, look, this guy's having some issues, he's banging his head against everything. Can, strap him down and take him to, someplace where he can be put into a safe padded room in a straitjacket kind of thing for a little bit. So he's not a danger to himself.
They could have at least, maybe wrapped his head in gauze or something. I have no idea. I think they have helmets or head protection or something. They could have
they do, yeah. They could have done something.
But
like that officer said, the medics are worthless.
Pretty much. I've never felt something that more realized me close to how I felt about my last job. More than ever. Anyway, those city jails are not regulated like county jails and state lockups. Well, most jails require that prisoners undergo a medical and psychological intake evaluation before they are placed behind a locked cell door, said Brandon Wood, Executive Director of Texas Commission on Jail Standards. Those in severe distress typically are ordered to the hospital for evaluation and treatment.
So
this happened in Texas.
Yes, it's happened in Texas.
This is Mesquite. I actually picked up on that.
Yep. Part of the problem here with this is that a lot of the officers' reports are conflicting with what they said, because they've also this is also there because he killed himself essentially by smashing his head in and not getting proper medical treatment at any point during this. I mean, they really fucked up. In the city jail, they only made one note, which they called medics at 1:30 in the morning once they saw he was non-responsive. So everybody in this chain fucked up royally. The only reason the story's coming to light now is because his parents are suing the city in federal court. Actually, this is the second time they've tried that. The first time, the city wouldn't release the video of the body cams, and apparently they couldn't get them. The judge didn't, let the camera release it. So then they went to the FBI, and they asked the FBI to investigate, which they did. And the FBI got the videos. And they're like, hey, FBI, can you turn over those videos to us since we can't get them? And the FBI did, thankfully. So now they went back, and the judge is like, yeah, you got enough evidence. Yeah, let's go. Let's roll this.
He's like, well, I can't protect these assholes any longer. Let's go.
Pretty much. But yeah, they basically said everybody fucked up along this way. There was nobody who wrote reports, and a lot of the reports were conflicting. It's just a big clusterfuck.
See, the proper term is a shit show. Oh, there's a cat right there. Here we go.
Yes, it is. And, I mean, there were so many mistakes along this way. I mean, they could have saved this poor kid's life. It wouldn't have been that hard.
They weren't that hard.
But no, they were fucking lazy assholes who didn't want to do their jobs.
Oh, I'm sorry, what? Did you expect police officers to do their jobs?
Yeah, crazy idea. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, good. So, In good news out of Alabama, which rarely ever happens. No. A bit too strong for that. Yeah. Democrat Doug Jones wins in a stunning upset for the Alabama Senate race. In a stunning victory aided by scandal, Democrat Doug Jones won Alabama's special Senate election on Tuesday, beating back history and embattled Republican opponent and Donald Trump, who urgently endorsed GOP.
Is this the dude who they were protecting the other dude, the Republican guy? Is this story?
Maybe.
The Republican dude that Trump was pushing we talked about last week?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Roy Moore, who urgently endorsed the GOP rebel Roy Moore, despite a litany of sexual misconduct allegations. It's the first time in Senate. It was the first Democratic Senate victory in over 25 years in Alabama.
Times are changing, America.
Yeah. In one of the reddest of the red states, which proved anew that party loyalty is anything but sure in the age of Trump. The Republican loss was a major embarrassment for the president and a fresh wound for the nation's already divided GOP. Because the GOP doesn't like Trump, and they threw him out there to try and help get this going, because Trump originally endorsed Luther Strange, which was the candidate running against Roy Moore for the Republican nomination. And when Luther Strange failed, Trump then decided to not quite endorse Roy Moore because of all the sexual scandals going on, where he was basically sexually assaulting teenage girls. Until finally it became too late because the upset in power. Roy Moore, meanwhile, refused to concede and raised the possibility of a recount during a brief appearance at a somber campaign party in Montgomery. The Attorney General has refused to do a recount because the margins are so large. Which, not like super large. The margin, the Democrat, Doug Jones, won by 1.5%. And the percentage for a recount is 0.5%.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty small percentage for a recount. That's probably because they're like, dude, it was off by 1. No, we're not doing a recount. Democrats, fuck you guys. And then it turns around and bites them in the ass.
Yeah, probably.
Beautiful.
So, the victory by Jones, a former U.S. attorney, best known for prosecuting 2 Ku Klux Klansmen responsible for Birmingham's infamous 1963 church bombing. Wow. Impressive resume.
I know, right?
I don't know if he's done anything more, but that alone is very impressive. Which narrows the GOP's advantage in the Senate to 51 to 49. A number of Republicans declined to support Moore, including Alabama's long-serving Senator Richard Shelby, but Trump lent his name and the national GOP resources to Moore's campaign in recent days. Had Moore won, the GOP would have been saddled with a colleague accused of sword conduct as Republicans nationwide struggle with Trump's historically low popularity. I think latest numbers, he's hit a record low of 32%. Senate leaders promised that Moore would have faced an immediate ethics investigation. Which is great. Why does he become senator? And bam, first day in ethics investigation.
God. They got Panda's cut. They sent me a picture of it cleaned. He got 8 stitches. That's what it looks like. That one's a better picture because it goes all the way around the side. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that at first. I just saw that gash.
Yeah, that's a bit overreacting. Yeah, it's bad damage. Yeah. But it wasn't lose his pinky.
No. It's just pretty bad.
Yeah, no, it's just bad, yeah. Like, I'm sure you see. It's bad injury.
I've done stuff like that.
He's like, I think I'm going to lose my pinky. It's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time I had a gash like that deep was whenever I impaled myself. I've actually done that a couple times in my life. I've impaled myself with various objects. Remember, people, stabbing is easier than you think.
So ultimately, Tuesday's contest came down to which side better motivated its supporters to vote. Alabama Secretary of State John Merrill said turnout would likely not exceed 25% of registered voters. See, that's the thing. That means the Democrat won with like 12% of the Alabama voting populace. So it honestly wouldn't have been super difficult for Moore to win, considering the percentage that came out to vote. Which means there's really a small amount of Democrats in that state.
Yep.
Which makes sense because it is Alabama.
It's Alabama, baby.
But also that the Republicans just simply didn't care. Or perhaps they did care that he was...
I think they fucked up. Like, they were really pushing for him. I think that's probably what got more people to vote against him, because of how hard they pushed for him.
Well, actually, I think they ran a survey, and about 7% of Roy Moore voters said that they acknowledged that he sexually assaulted children, and that they would still vote for him anyways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Especially since, like, Republicans don't like queers and fucking child rapists and all that other stuff.
Well, you tell that to the folks in Alabama.
Well, this is Alabama.
It's Alabama.
So that's completely different.
Yes.
I don't expect better from Alabama, let's be real here.
To Roy Moore, Moore once was removed from his position as a state Supreme Court Chief Justice after he refused to remove a boulder-sized Ten Commandments monument at the state court building, which is obviously a violation of separation of church and state. A second time, he was permanently suspended for urging state probate judges to refuse marriage licenses to same-sex couples. So clearly he's a piece of shit person already.
Yep.
I mean, coupled with his child sexual assault, anti-gay, telling judges the wrong things, and really supporting Ten Commandments in violation of church and state. Yeah, terrible person.
A little bit, yeah. Separation of church and state's a big deal. It's one of my favorite things that doesn't really exist. Anyway, moving on. As we spoke about the other day, good old Florida, as we talked about yesterday. Florida man who dragged shark behind boat charged with animal cruelty. Oh, I knew this was coming. We covered this a couple times. The three men in a viral video showing a shark being violently dragged behind a speeding boat have been charged with animal cruelty. Among other charges, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission and prosecutors from the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office announced Tuesday. Michael Wenzel, 21, Spencer Heinz, 23, and Robert Lee Banach, 28, were charged with numerous criminal violations, including both felony and misdemeanor charges. The three men have each been charged with 2 felony counts of aggravated animal cruelty. Wenzel and Banach will face an additional misdemeanor charge of illegal method of take shark, a law pertaining to how sharks may be fished. The FW says that investigators have conducted relentless research into the suspect's social media activity, in addition to speaking with numerous shark experts. FWC Commission Chairman Beau Rivard said he hopes these charges will send a clear message to others that this kind of behavior involving fish and wildlife will not be tolerated.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't really understand, but sharks are ridiculously important to the ecosystem of the oceans. And by killing them and fishing them, and especially in China. China's a major problem. And a lot of that...
China's a major killing everything.
Yeah, China's a major killing everything. Asia's a major sharks. Because they do it for shark finish.
Aren't they also whale and everything?
Whales, not dolphins, surprisingly. Dogs, cats, of course.
That's what I was saying. That's why I said all those Asian countries are like killing everything. That's why all the Chinese food jokes exist and the stereotypes exist.
Because they're not stereotypes; it's actually truth.
Yeah.
Which, I have to say, stereotypes are based in truth.
A large portion of stereotypes are based around some sort of truth that may have existed or may still exist. Who knows?
It definitely exists in China. Yeah. I'm glad these people are getting
the book thrown at them.
Yeah, because I mean, if you've seen the video, they're just laughing about it while they're dragging a shark behind a boat. It's a terrible thing. Just kill the creature and pull it out of its misery. I mean,
well, it's probably because of like the Hollywood shark thing.
Yeah, well, Hollywood has caused sharks to have a really bad rap.
Because, well, Jaws.
Because Jaws. Which is terrible, because sharks don't really attack humans too often.
Maybe they do sometimes for all sorts of reasons, but most of the time, no. Sharks are usually pretty good.
I mean, you're more likely to be killed by a vending machine than a shark.
Fucking the old 7-Up commercial vending machine. The one with the Mythbusters guys did. That launched Coke cans at people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Rise of the Terminators. It starts with the vending machines.
Yeah. So this is actually fairly interesting, and also rather, I have a problem with this.
You have a problem with this?
No, with this next story.
Yeah, monopolization of things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Walt Disney has bought Rupert Murdoch's Fox.
I've seen this all over right now. All the jokes, all the Disney princess jokes about everything about Fox. Disney Xenomorphs being Disney princesses. What else? Thor.
Lisa can finally be a Disney princess.
Who?
Lisa.
Simpsons?
Yeah. Because they own The Simpsons now. But they will when this is done. So, Walt Disney has agreed to buy the bulk of 21st Century Fox's business for $52.4 billion in a deal that both companies said positioned them to compete in the rapidly changing media industry. The purchase includes Fox's film and television studios, as well as its 39% stake in satellite broadcaster Sky, which is a major broadcaster in the UK. Fox will form a news-focused company with its remaining assets. The move is a sharp shift for 86-year-old Fox owner Rupert Murdoch, who for more than half a century of media expansion. Disney will scoop up Fox's movies and television studios, regional sports networks, and international holdings, among other investments. The move adds to Disney's back catalog high-grossing films such as the original Star Wars movies, the Marvel superhero pictures Avatar and Deadpool, as well as TV hits such as Modern Family and The Simpsons. The purchase also extends Disney's global reach, adding media company Star India and Fox's interest in Sky plc and Tata Sky in its portfolio. Disney will also get majority control of the video streaming service Hulu, which is partially owned by Comcast and Time Warner. That's going to be pretty interesting. Because, I mean, does Hulu have a lot of Disney content on it?
I don't know. Who has a lot of just general content on it?
Because, I mean, it says right there, like, Comcast and Time Warner on it. Comcast is what, like... Comcast isn't CBS. They're like NBC, I believe.
I don't know. There's a lot of different things. Wasn't it random?
No, you had it in
I had it in a different filter. It was like pictures in the news. It was pictures random in the news. All files. I don't know.
I think it was in PS things.
News shite. There we go.
There we go.
Now put it in here.
So Disney will also assume the $13.7 billion in Fox debt as a part of the stock deal, taking the total value of the transaction to more than $66 billion. That's pretty damn good for Fox. Like, hey, we're going to buy your entire company and also buy out your debt.
Buy your company and buy your debt. Let's see how this picture translates. And it translates decent. Disney,
so
Disney
as you can see,
Media Empire.
Disney owns shit tons of that.
Smacked me.
As you can see, they own
95.79 billion.
Yes, $1 billion. They own ESPN.
Oh wow, they own Maker.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they own Maker for quite a while, which is part of the problem for Maker people.
They also own Hulu.
Yeah, well now they own the majority of Hulu.
Jesus.
Marvel Press, StarWars.com, The Muppet Studio,
Vice, I didn't know that.
ABC, A&E, ESPN. They own 80% of it. Hulu, which it says they own 30% there, they now own the majority of it. Marvel, of course. Vice, they own 10%, and Viceland, which they own all of it. The Disney parks, of course.
Well, that's all theirs, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And the movie studios, DreamWorks 2, which is there DreamWorks 1? Because this is DreamWorks 2 is distribution. So I assume DreamWorks
I think DreamWorks 1 is like the actual
company, yeah. They own Lucasfilms, Marvel, and they
picked up
own
Lucasfilms, what, 2-3 years ago, right?
No, like 5-6 years ago.
There's a cat playing with our green screen.
Okay. And they own Pixar. Which I think Pixar, they keep kind of independent.
Yeah.
Because they want Pixar to retain the Pixar style.
Here you go.
Which they don't want to get under Disney.
Pixar and DreamWorks work hand in hand for things. A lot of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pixar works with DreamWorks, Pixar works with Disney, of course, because they own them.
Come here, you cat.
Pixar works alone.
She's fucking stuck in it. It's hilarious.
Oh, she is.
She does that. She needs to learn better control of her claws. Probably be trimmed. Come here.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, Disney owns an insane amount of things.
It is now the Disney monopoly. What's funny is the old, what is it? We had one of the Disney monopolies or whatever, and like Boardwalk and Park Place for Disneyland. Yeah. Kitty cat.
So Fox will hold on to its flagship news channel, Fox Business, Fox Broadcasting Company, Fox Sport, Fox Television Station.
So Fox will still exist.
Yeah, Fox is still kicking around. From what they say, they want to refocus on just news and not have to worry about everything else.
They're going to fix news?
Focus on it.
Are they going to fix news, though?
They're going to make it great again.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to bring up that other picture. Can't you just put, like, URLs into that and it'd work?
I'm not sure. This one right here.
Yeah.
I can give it a shot. Somehow I don't think so, though. If I use the browser source, it will work.
Yeah, just put a link in it. Just hit browse.
Okay.
And then, paste it there.
Okay.
And then hit OK. Okay, that didn't actually do it. Oh. No, that didn't.
Nope, didn't do jack shit.
Huh, okay. Sometimes it does things in other programs.
I feel like I could do it in the browser source.
Yeah, you should be able to do it in the browser source.
Source. Create new.
We're making some updates live, folks.
Paste. I guess that was the other picture. This one is this picture.
Yeah, that one's the Disney picture. This one over here is the Fox picture.
Which one? The one that I just picked?
Yeah, which is the right one. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay. Copy?
No, that's the wrong picture.
Is that the wrong picture?
No, the picture that's right there is the right picture.
Oh, this is the Fox one.
Yeah.
Okay. Just drag it over here.
I guess can you put it behind us?
Move. Order. Move it up. And then I have to move it up. Right there. There you go.
Here, expand it out so people can see.
Extend.
Yeah. My arm's in the way.
Oh crap, I lost it.
Huh?
There we go. Trying to scale it back down a little bit. There we go.
There we go.
A little bit back.
So as you can see, these are all the holdings of Fox itself, which Fox is a $50 billion company.
Yeah.
So they own.
I said I have now acquired a cat.
Yes, yeah. So as you can see here, they own actually quite a lot of cable networks, cable broadcasters, etc. Which that's all Disney. Right here, they have 20th Century Fox. And Fox Studios Australia. Fox is like, we don't want Australia anymore. You can have them. So it's interesting. We're going to have The Simpsons Disney-ified, probably. They, of course.
Wait, so is Fox keeping 20th Century Fox? Or?
Nope. They're only keeping these things here in the
orange.
Which is
then yeah, they're losing The Simpsons and all that.
Yep.
Wait, doesn't that mean that Disney acquired the Firefly license?
I assume so, yeah.
Because Fox has it.
Yep.
We can have a resurgence of Firefly
Under Disney though.
Yeah. So as they bring Ridley Scott back home, I don't give a fuck what they do.
Yeah, they do too much.
Well, because now they're going to down,
all those great canceled
Fox
shows that Fox loves to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wait, what about Family Guy and all that?
Ooh. Oh my god.
Because Simpsons, Family Guy, Seth Green. Oh no.
Yeah. Do you think they'll let it continue?
I don't know. Because that's like not Disney's thing. I don't know. Disney might just be buying shit at this point, though. They might leave everything alone.
Maybe.
I don't know. And before Family Guy turns kid friendly.
At that point, they should just cancel it.
Yeah.
I mean, as it is, it's already gone on so long that it's really declining in quality.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it'd be a mercy killing at that. Yeah, no. Oh, they also got Nat Geo. Yep. See, right down there.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So that'd be cool.
National Geographic.
Maybe.
No wonder why National Geographic turned to shit.
Well, it was still on their Fox. This is just barely coming out.
That's what I'm saying. No wonder why Nat Geo was shit, because it got bought out by Fox, I guess. Or do they own it forever?
I don't know. But now I assume Disney will make it better because Disney knows how to do things. And
Disney will make it great again. Is that what you're trying to say there?
And of course, they also have $100 billion behind them.
They also have Walt Disney's Frozen Corpse.
Anyways, so that's the extent of this story.
I think that.
Yeah, Cat's like, I'm done with you now.
Nah, I just didn't. Probably wasn't comfortable. I didn't hold it correctly. Anyway, Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson dies of self-inflicted gunshot wound. WRV 41 Louisville News. Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson, who was under investigation for alleged sexual molestation, died from a single gunshot wound to the head, according to the... Does that seriously say Bullitt County Coroner? That's ironically hilarious. Bullitt County Sheriff Donnie Tinnell says Johnson drove to the bridge over the Salt River, on Greenwell Ford Road in Mount Washington.
Let the salt flow.
Pretty much. Parked on the north side of it and shot himself in front of his car. His body was found on the bank of the river just past the bridge. Just before 5 p.m. Wednesday, Johnson posted the following message on his Facebook page. The accusations from NPR are false. God and only God knows the truth. Nothing is the way they make it out to be. America will not survive this type of judge and jury fake news.
Now clearly,
what?
This is a message of a man who knows he's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
And also knows that he did do wrong. Because you just don't commit suicide if you know you didn't do anything.
Not necessarily. That's not necessarily.
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean to do it so quickly. Because people who get falsely accused of things, they do go to extreme measures.
They also do.
But I mean, considering they do go to suicide. But considering what we've seen of the last 24 odd freaking people from Hollywood and movies, television, politicians who've been accused of various sexual things with children, child stars, etc., that none of them have killed themselves. Clearly, this person has held quite a large and a deep amount of regret.
Either that or there was problems being made for him by people. Because it's the same reason why other people get bullied commit suicide.
Yeah.
It works both ways.
I suppose so, but this is really rapid, because I think the story that came out only came out like last week.
Yeah, a week's over enough time to get yourself bullied into suicide.
Yeah, but I mean, considering all the other politicians hell, Roy Moore was accused of worse. He came out there and denied all the accusations.
Yeah, some people just don't really give a shit. It's like if people were to claim that I did stuff I didn't do, I'd be like, no, and carry on living perfectly fine, and just laugh at stupid people that will control me. So, but it has to do with the type of person, some other things. There's plenty of reasons why people commit suicide. I don't know well enough. I feel like I don't have a reason to live, but I'm still here because I haven't thought about suicide for some reason. I don't know why. But my brain just doesn't work that way as far as I've known. Anyway, conservatives take a stand. I love God and I love my wife, who is the best wife in the world. My love forever. My mom and dad, my family, and all 5 of my kids and 9 grandchildren, 2 in tummies, and many more to come. Each of you are a total gift from God. Stay strong. Rebecca needs you. 9/11, 2001, NYC, WTC, PTSD, 24/7, 16 years is a sickness that will take my life. I cannot handle it any longer. It has won this life, but heaven is my home. Please listen closely. Only 3 things I ask you to do, if you love me, is 1. Blame no person. Satan is the accuser, so blame the devil himself. 2. Forgive and love everyone, especially yourself. 3. Most importantly, love God. P.S. I love my friends. You are from family. God loves all people, no matter what. Yeah, it definitely sounds like a suicide letter. No. Yeah. 9/11 New York City World Trade Center PTSD 24/7 16 years.
So was he at?
That's a good question. Because maybe there's a lot of things. Like I said, he could have been going through a lot of shit and been completely mentally unstable. Mm-hmm. It's possible. And then this happened, and he's just like, nope, I literally have no reason to live anymore. I'm done. Mm-hmm. But anyway, on Tuesday, Johnson held a press conference at his church on Bardstown Road, where he denied the molestation allegations. According to court documents obtained by Kentucky Center for Investigative Reporting, the alleged molestation took place on New Year's Eve in 2012. The alleged victim was 17 at the time. Told authorities that she was staying in a living area of the Heart of Fire City Church, where Johnson was pastor. When Johnson, who had been drinking a lot, approached her, kissed her, and fondled her under her clothes. And there we go. I'm about to burp or something, but I can't. Yes! I saw the shackle. The slave shackle. Yes! I was going to tell Greenfiend about it.
Anyways. That's the video.
You want me to just play this video for this next thing? Video, drive Google. Now let's see if we can get this to pop over. This man's wearing a headset. He's wearing one like yours.
What I'm not wearing.
Yeah. What you're not wearing.
Is the white balance off? Because this thing is like glowing.
Yeah, I'm kind of glowing-ish.
Did that setting turn back on or something?
I do not know. I do not know. Nope. Nope. It's not off. Part of it's just your shirt and the light, because we have a lot of light in here. Also, your shirt has the weird splashes on it, like paint, like spray paint. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of throwing off slightly. It's also because it's not rendering the particles very well, so it just looks flashy. Mm. I think that, and also the color gets changed whenever I add the filter for the green. I'll change the color slightly. Throws it off. This face though, it's pretty funny. Okay, switch over to the video watching mode, making sure we are on the correct browser before we go on. Oh, look, the face is alright. We have faded. Ooh, there we are. Just like that. Transitions, everybody. Bada boom, bada boom. Alright, now I just want to take a moment to laugh at his face. Perfect crease range. Those are the faces I make whenever I hear everybody in Discord say stupid shit most of the time while we're playing games.
It makes me feel as if...
Oh god, I can't hear shit. How low was it?
Play it, it's not...
Yeah, no, I'm just stopped it.
No one cares. No one cares.
His mother claimed he had cancer, which led to countless surgeries, hundreds of hospital visits, even a feeding tube.
All of this happened, his father says, for no reason, and now he's fighting to get his son
Full screen the video? Also, it has closed captions on it.
Back after the boy's mother was arrested for child abuse.
It's a battle he says would never have started if someone had actually listened. Here's News 8's Tanya Iser.
Look at him, he's healthy.
Ryan Crawford loved his little boy from the moment he laid eyes on him.
Hold up.
He was just so beautiful.
But from the time he was an infant...
Hold up.
He was just so beautiful.
But from the time he was from the moment...
Look at that notification bar, everybody.
Oh my god.
What the fuck?
It's packed with notifications. Spacebar actually also works here.
Does it actually?
Because it's YouTube.
Spacebar works in this realm. Anyway, I just had to I was like, hold up, that notification.
Eyes on him.
He was just so beautiful.
But from the time he was an infant, Crawford was convinced his son's mother was abusing him by falsely claiming he was deathly ill.
I just hate that someone took advantage of him. His own mother.
By the time Christopher's mother, Kayleen Bowenwright, was arrested, CPS records obtained by the Fort Worth Star-Telegram show there'd been 323 hospital visits and 13 major surgeries performed on Christopher.
What are you doing?
Hey, just focus on that, folks. 332 hospital visits and 13 major surgeries. Are all of these...
Part of this is the problem, I have to say, the healthcare professionals.
Yeah, I was about to say, are all of these healthcare professionals incompetent?
Is this in Dallas? Is it Texas?
This is in Texas.
I want to go live in Dallas.
Oh, okay, well, don't go for the medicine.
I come in and just like my arm just like halfway snapped off.
He's like, you have cancer.
They look at me and they're like, something? No, your arm's fine. You have cancer. You're gonna die in a month. You're gonna die in a month.
I was like, no, we need to take you to emergency surgery with the cancer.
Here's fentanyl. Jeez. All right, carry on. You good?
Yeah.
Most of them arising out of infections from medical procedures he never should have undergone.
Malpractice is a thing.
Well, infections in hospitals are actually kind of common.
How do you do it? How do you do 13 surgeries and not question the 5th surgery,
Exactly.
the 6th surgery?
How do
Video
you
is from
not
2000.
question,
Anything.
you know, the first surgery?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
You know?
most places like here, you have to go to like 2 different exams before they're like, all right, we need you in surgery.
Yeah.
And then you have like a follow exam after surgery. I mean, you have all sorts of things to keep
Yeah.
shit like this from happening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there are procedures and policies in place to prevent this exact kind of shit. You know, because who the fuck just comes in and is like, well, the mother says he's got XYZ disease. I guess he has it. Let's take him into surgery. You know? What the fuck? No, you medical professionals, you're supposed to run tests. Hell, I was reading a story earlier this week that was saying that medical professionals run too many tests.
Yeah, like a lot of my friends
of
have
them are
actually
unnecessary.
been non-diagnosed for things that, you know, they keep presenting to doctors, you know, basically from the internet, WebMD stuff, but like, they don't do those tests anyway. And then eventually, after years of testing, and they knew, you know, they basically figured out 100% that they had this also because of other friends, family members who have the same conditions. They come forward and they're like, yeah, you know, I have that, that's what this is. Eventually, down the line, they're like, you actually have that condition. And they're like, I told you to test for that. Like, because that's something your doctors do. If you're like, hey, I feel like I might have this problem, you know, here are my symptoms, can we test for that or whatever? Because that's part of what your doctor's supposed to do, is supposed to work with you, like, if you think something's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Instead of it's like, you know, she's big, a cat. Being destructive.
Yes. But part of it, I was reading the story, was talking about a woman who went through quite a lot of medical procedures that were relatively unnecessary, and she got a bill for like $15,000.
For medical bills, that's not that bad.
Yeah, but well, she didn't have a disease warranting those kind of things.
Still $15,000.
And then she went to other doctors, and they're like, "Yeah, no, we wouldn't have run half those tests. They were all pretty much unnecessary. We could have got them. We could have got the results from like 2 tests that would have cost next to nothing." But because the doctors just really wanted to, I guess, make some money or overprescribe, or were just really worried, and they didn't want to get sued for not diagnosing something, they overtest.
All right.
This clearly didn't happen in this case.
12.
This is one of the last visits.
I was calling because
She's ignoring him. He's trying to talk to her. She's calling doctors, trying to
I mean, that's ridiculous.
make sure he stays sick.
That same year, a judge ended his rights to see his son.
The judge stated that I needed to accept that my son was dying.
In 2014, Crawford tried to get full custody of his son. He says the judge refused to even look at the medical records.
It makes
It's a
me
bad
feel as
judge,
if
but it's also a bad system. Because as we've covered in previous stories over the past, many time we've done this.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Is that the justice system
Until she
around,
brings it down above us, it's fine.
around custody is heavily weighted for women, regardless of anything that they're doing. They could be terrible parents, and they could, just do terrible things, but they'll still get custody over a man who's the one actually providing for the family, working the job and such. Far be it from me to talk about reality and how...
You don't know anything about children. I don't know. You don't have kids. I have no idea.
I mean...
You don't even have a girlfriend or a wife or anything. You're just a nerd.
I have money.
That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but that's what those people who have those things don't have.
Also true. There was a quote of something. It was like some sort of bachelor. It's like, yeah, I could have a car, I could have, a life, I could have a family, I could have all of those things. Or I could just have money. I think I'll stick with money. This is something like that. It's pretty fun. Anyway, carry on. You done with your rant?
Yeah.
The system wants to believe the mother all the time.
Crawford says his complaints to CPS went nowhere. Neither did a 2015 complaint from a doctor.
Knowing that your son is being injured, but you can't do anything about it, is the worst pain.
His father blames the doctors who he says failed to keep his son from 8 years of misery.
Yeah.
Last month, Christopher and his siblings were removed from their mother's care. Christopher is now in foster care, not on oxygen, eating normally, and showing no signs of the sick little boy his mother claimed he was. His dad just wants him out of foster care and back home with him where he belongs. I'm live in the Dallas newsroom. Tanya Iser, Channel 8 News.
She was having so much trouble there.
Yeah. So what
Reminds me of Kenneth.
So what Munchausen by proxy is so I'll describe Munchausen first. So Munchausen is a mental disease.
Hold on a second. Armed. Bro, calm yourself. What is going on? Why are there so many trolls on Mixer?
I don't know. I blame Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a shitty Xbox, Microsoft.
Yeah, it's shitty Xbox, yeah.
And also, hello everybody else calling us pedos for some reason. Yeah, I know, right?
Anyways, but Munchausen is a mental disorder which makes people want to get sympathy and popularity by being sick, by pretending to have a disease, pretending to be pregnant, pretending to be in need, to get attention. And Munchausen by proxy is getting those same things, but by causing somebody else to have those symptoms. In a lot of cases, children, usually by the mother, and it usually ends in death. Not a lot of the time, but some of the times it's...
Yes, we are actually
real. Yeah.
We are the realest of Koreas.
This isn't pre-recorded.
No, not really. We're live. Live news. Or live news to us. Or live live news.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it's actually, I think 9 or 10% of Munchausen by proxy cases end in death.
Probably because the kids don't know any better.
Well, yeah, because the kids, they're children. They don't, they listen to their parents. Yeah, so they don't really know any better.
I still don't understand. That's probably what's happening. Because the doctors are looking through these things and, they're just, running scan stuff. Hey, my kid's fine. The kid's like, but I hurt, It's like one of those things. It's like with some people with, things that are hard to, diagnose. Like feeling pain or whatever. Costume, sorry. Oh, well, at least he's an apologetic troll. Is that why people come on and troll or something from Mixer?
Do they think we're recorded or something?
I don't know. It happens all the damn time. People come in and just shit talk, and it's like, why? I don't understand.
Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't notice it for a while. I only noticed him talking because he had an actual icon. So at least he's 1/10 the real, that everybody else is fake. So, congratulations for being a real boy.
But that's all in this story. So the next one, we also have a video to play.
Ooh. Is this the video?
No, it's there we
go. Yeah. There's the video. Alright, and then we go back to unable to process this video. What? Just give me a shitty video?
No, it's supposed to be the right video.
It's no view. Look at it again. Yeah, unable to process video.
Oh well, whatever. Let's go back to the thing and we'll roll the video from there.
Go back to what?
The page. Yeah.
I'll roll this fashionable or with the shitty player. See, I saw this. I laughed at this. I was trying to make myself laugh. I thought you were fake first. That's...
We're fake news, goddammit.
We're what Trump is afraid of. There you go. The fake news.
Yeah.
What did you say? All right, back to here. All right, so get your trendy bullshit clothing as that
from American Eagle.
As me. So apparently, Chris, you know Greenfeed. You've heard him talk, right? And how chilly he is. Yeah. Apparently, he said in middle school he used to rock American Eagle and Hollister and what's the other one? What's the other white people clothing store? Rich, preppy white people do too. It's Hollister, American Eagle. I think that might be it.
No, there's one other.
Yeah, something else.
Yeah, whatever.
Some other shitty place that you shouldn't shop anyway.
Offensive. A bracelet.
So let's pause this here because this is the bracelet they're having an issue with.
It's obviously a shackle, like 100%. There's no way around it. It's even made to look like brassed and like rusted and worn. Like this is.
But is it fashionable? Yes or no?
I don't think so. It looks uncomfortable. Fuck, honestly.
It kind of does. Well, Thursdays we stream the news. We do a Thursday news show every Thursday. We're 36 episodes in.
Yep. And then on Tuesdays, I have another co-host named Hikek, who's also part of our stream team here. I think you can click on it and find him. He streams something. He's probably streaming shitty PUBG right now or something like that.
But generally on this, because we're on his channel, he streams games. He's been doing a lot of Arma 3.
I haven't streamed the Arma, because streaming Arma is a problem sometimes. But yes, Arma, Siege, those are the last things I've been playing really. Arma Siege, sometimes Dead by Daylight, sometimes PUBG, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And then every Tuesday is the other talk show for anime that me and Hikek run, where we cover seasonal anime, like roundup review things, and we also have guests every other week as well. So it's nice. As we'll see you roll the video.
Some say it reminds them of shackles associated with slavery.
Now, let's pause this right here. When's the last time any of these motherfuckers who are complaining about this shit were in chains? You know? Last time I checked, the 20-something-year-olds who are at college bitching about this have never seen a goddamn shackle outside of a museum.
Probably even been in.
Well, thank you, I appreciate the comments.
Huh? Thank you, sir.
You know, there's all this fake outrage about this bullshit. You know, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
And it's ridiculous that it exists, first of all. That's a shitty phrase.
That American Eagle thought they could get away with it because it's just terrible.
That's what they sell. They sell shitty clothing and jewelry to people for overpriced.
Yes, definitely overpriced. But the fact that they didn't think they'd get a backlash also kind of amusing. Maybe they're doing it as a publicity thing.
Maybe. Remember, as we say on this show, all PR is good PR. Even all of you people trolling from Mixerland is good PR.
No longer being sold American...
Hold on. I want to say something in that statement. I've always wanted viewers that talk. I guess if they troll us, I technically get what I want. I wanted an engaging conversation, so I guess it works.
Eagle has decided to pull it from store shelves. 13 Action.
She almost messed up saying store.
Has that story tonight.
That bracelet's being sold by American Eagle, so we wanted to get more reaction. We printed out a picture of the bracelet to show people around the valley, and for the most part, the reaction was mixed.
To me, personally, it does look like a shackle, and it looks like from history.
Specifically, some people are saying it reminds them of shackles associated with slavery, and they just don't understand why they're being sold.
It doesn't offend me, but I could see how it could offend people.
There's too much offensive stuff in this world.
Oh my God,
also posted the picture on social media, and that's where we got a different reaction.
Of course.
Multiple posts saying people were being too sensitive and to just get over it. But again, when we ask people in person...
I have to stop and laugh at this guy. Just... I bet he's going to be like, I'm white. Let's see this reaction. It's just like, oh God, he looks beautiful. All right, see where this goes.
Then everyone had a problem with the bracelet.
I would pull them if I was American Eagle, to be honest. I just don't see why you would keep them if it's bringing up that kind of imagery, like justified or not.
After we reached out to the company, that's exactly what's going to happen. American Eagle Outfitters sent us a statement saying, "We've heard and understand the concerns about the bracelet. We apologize and will remove the product from our stores and website."
I mean, my opinion of this...
Sell what they want. I just wouldn't buy it for my granddaughter.
See, that's a reasonable response. Absolutely perfect response. Sell it if you want.
This old lady made me resonate on a level. Just I don't give a shit. I wouldn't buy it. That's what you do.
Exactly, and that's what I just want to say. Let people sell what they want. I mean, as I saw on Etsy, people were selling things like that. I wouldn't buy it because it's ugly and it's probably extremely overpriced.
It looks uncomfortable as fuck, too.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But I could see that there's a market for not people who want to promote slavery or something, but people think it looks fashionable because they have terrible fashion sense. What do I know? I wear graphic tees. Still.
I mean, well, yeah, we're walking billboards for the shit we like, but honestly, I like wearing graphic tees of the shit I like because I'm an antisocial fuck. But if somebody's like, hey, I like your shirt, then I can have a conversation with somebody because I don't engage anyone at first. I hate human beings, so I don't speak to them. You laugh, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if somebody engages me on my shirt, then that gives me a talking point. Like, I don't care about normal humans. It's like, hey, how you doing? How's your day? And like, I'm weirded out by that. I'm like, my day is okay. My life is okay. Okay. But I mean, somebody's like, well, dude, see, you have Japanese anime. I like anime too. I like Sword Art Online. And then I'm like, I have this shirt, but I fucking hate this anime. Anyway, I just got it because the facial reactions remind me of myself. Anyway, carry on. Oh, it's the end of the video.
And I wouldn't wear it. Yasmin Hassan, 13 Action News.
Good morning and thanks for logging on to ABC.
The keyboard is just AIDS. Oops, there we go. Oh yes, that was my new overlay.
I hate Earth.
What? That means you were great. I hate it. Did you say booze it up?
Yeah.
Talk about the sake little glass and the shots. This is basically the same.
A very tiny glass.
It's basically a shot glass.
Yeah.
I need to get like one of he's got the Doom shotgun shell shot glasses. You need to either buy me some or freaking just buy them for them because those are cool. I like those.
So, gun range employee accidentally kills customers.
Oh shit! All right, so you need to make sure you clear your gun. Just look down right there. What do you see? Ba-boom! I assume it's something of that nature.
Pretty much.
Jesus.
A gun range employee in Houston has killed a customer.
What is this about Texas? Are you hating on Texas this week? Is that
Texas is just in the news, man. What can I say? In an apparent accident, the Harris County Sheriff announced Tuesday an investigation into the incident is underway. The sheriff's office told CBS that a male employee was cleaning a rifle when it accidentally discharged. The bullet passed through a wall and window, striking a man in another part of the range.
Wow.
Police responded to the Hot Wells shooting range shortly after 9 a.m. The victim was rushed to the hospital but pronounced dead.
That random luck of a shot. So, I want to take this moment to talk about gun safety here. So, this isn't a place that has a shooting range. It's obviously meant, to contain gunfire, and it still passed through a wall and a window and still killed a man.
Well, consider that, because gun range, I don't know how exactly gun ranges are designed.
Well, they're designed usually, especially indoor ranges. They're indoor, they're in the concrete rooms, usually at the end.
And all four walls are designed to withstand a bullet.
Kind of. I'm not sure how this exactly happened here, but either way, it went through, he was still somewhere in the range or somewhere around, and the bullet went through one of the walls.
Because this is another part of the range, but does that mean in the range area, or does that mean like in the store area, and they're just calling it a range?
That's a good question. There's a good question there, but still, I wanted to bring the point anyway. That like when you're stripping weapons and you're cleaning weapons in your own house, even that you could, if you don't clear it correctly, you could accidentally discharge your rifle and shoot either one of your family members, a pet, or it'll go through your wall of your house, like into somebody else's house, or through your wall of your apartment and kill somebody else. Like,
yeah, we've covered plenty of stories here where people who were cleaning guns accidentally ended up killing themselves or killing their children.
Yes.
UFO news? We don't generally cover UFO news.
I haven't seen anything on UFOs. It's like in...
if something comes up, we'll cover it.
Yeah, there you
go. But yes, gun safety is extremely important, and the maximum amount of care must be taken when cleaning their weapon.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these are weapons of death. It's their job is to kill things.
It's like my whole deal on weapons. Like, I keep bullets unloaded from the chamber unless I'm ready to shoot it at somebody or something.
Mm-hmm.
I keep the magazine that I have loaded outside of the gun. I keep an empty mag in there just to keep dirt and dust from getting in the mag well and getting in the mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's proper gun care right there.
Yeah. I mean, shit, even when I'm running around shooting things, like, everybody was worried about me, like, swinging the gun around or whatever, and I'm like, it's not even remotely loaded. I was like, again, I've cleared it, 20 times. Like, I'm super anal about it. Me, personally. Everyone else is like, drinking and swinging guns around that were fully loaded. I'm like, whoa, I want to live.
I'm reminded of that gif from Top Gear, where they're just sitting around, and then one of the guys from Top Gear's like holding a shotgun, and then he's like looking at it, and then he like moves the barrel pointing up, and the guy who holds the shotgun like swooped in and like moved it out of the way, and the guys sitting in front of him were like, oh shit, because you just don't do that.
Yeah, no, guns are bad. Okay, I mean, guns aren't bad. I like guns.
But guns can kill you.
Yeah, no. Like, improper gun use, improper gun carry, improper anything can easily kill you or somebody else again.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so carrying on, Jeffrey Woodfork, that name though is a wooden pork, sues Adams County for excessive force. A man admits that he flipped off an Adams County deputy. Oh, this is perfect. I love this. But he claims that didn't give the lawman the right to intentionally break his middle finger in retaliation. And it really doesn't. I mean, this is kind of like retaliation I felt. But anyway, Jeffrey Woodfork has sued Adams County Sheriff's Deputy Travis Wilson, accusing him of excessive force, and several Adams County jail nurses and their employer, Corizon Health Incorporated of Tennessee, claiming the nurses didn't treat his finger and it healed in a permanently malformed position, which is probable. On December 12th, Wilson jumped out of an unmarked vehicle and pointed a gun at Woodfork as he was crossing a street. At the same time, a woman who was with him took off running, the lawsuit says. When Wilson asked Woodfork the woman's name, he called the deputy an obscenity and raised his middle finger. The lawsuit says Wilson handcuffed Woodfork and then grabbed his middle finger and twisted it and yanked it until it snapped, the lawsuit says.
Yeah, no, that's definitely extremely excessive.
That's excessive force. Because it was already handcuffed. Like,
what do you do if somebody comes at you from an unmarked vehicle just waving a gun at you? You know?
That too. If that shit happened in Texas and somebody had a gun on them, they might shoot you unless you're like, I'm police, and you had an obvious police vest. But if you're like in regular, like you were super undercover and you weren't wearing a police
and I mean,
uniform,
that's what probably a lot of police in unmarked vehicles are doing. So, yeah. I mean, that cop's lucky he didn't get shot. Clearly, breaking a man's finger is ridiculous. And I hope he wins.
The law's kind of funny because if you shoot a police officer, even not knowing he's a police officer, you're in big trouble. Like, the law is really fucky in those instances. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like this. Because I think this is in Texas where this specifically has happened.
Of course, it's Texas.
Unannounced no-knock raids. We covered, I think, a story about that at some point. But the whole no-knock raid thing, they don't knock, they don't anything. They just bust in your house with guns and, and, like, a man has killed a bunch of people, killed a few officers in a no-knock raid, and then died. And I think the jail or the cops were trying to sue his family or something. It was something like that. And, like, they were going to win. And then my whole thing is like, to the person that's receiving the no-knock raid, because the guy had no warrants, he had nothing out against him. There was literally no reason for them to be there. But it was a no-knock raid, which they're allowed to do.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
I mean, they normally need, like, warrants to do a no-knock raid.
Apparently not. It was a weird special case thing or whatever, where they basically they're allowed to do that without warrants and stuff.
That's really strange.
Yeah. Anyway, so he shot people that intruded on his home. Again, he had no warrants, nothing yet. He even had the gun registered. But he shot and killed a couple of them like, anybody would do. You're just getting invaded and you have no fucking clue what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that kind of thing. They weren't even dressed up in SWAT gear or anything. They were in regular clothes about, is what happened. And then the ones behind them were in SWAT gear. It was something weird like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
Really strange.
It's ridiculous. It's so nice and warm now. The heater kicked on. So good.
I mean, it's not super terrible. I'm not, like, really uncomfortable. You could do to be a bit cooler. Well, that's just me. I'm a fairly warm person. So Don't you say shit, you son of a bitch.
Well,
don't you say shit. Fuck off.
Ho ho ho, Santa Claus.
Fuck off.
But anyway.
Anyway.
So yeah, that whole story, like, it kind of said, jumping out of an unmarked car and pointing a gun at the dude. Also, I can see myself doing something like this, like, fuck, no, I wouldn't say fuck the place, but like, fuck you or whatever.
Fuck off, mate.
Fuck off, mate. Con! Who was that? What was the name of that lady? Con! Beautiful.
So, in U.S. news, military, so the United States says flares fired at Russian jets. So, U.S. fighter planes fired warning flares at Russian jets entering an agreed non-conflict area over Syria. The 2 Russian Su-25s flew
SU
east.
works, by the way.
SU works?
Yeah. Because the fucking F-22 is F-22, so it's SU. Their actual term is like Subu, whatever the fuck, I don't really know.
Subaru F-25s.
Basically. It'd be Japanese, but close enough.
Flew east of the Euphrates River into U.S. airspace on Wednesday, said the Pentagon. One of the F-22 jets was nearly involved in a mid-air collision with a Russian plane, according to the United States.
Well then.
On the weekend, Russian official Igor Konashenkov,
good shit,
said he was bewildered that the United States had staked a claim over part of Syria's airspace and accused the US-led coalition of operating in Syria illegally. According to the Pentagon, numerous calls were placed on the emergency channel to convey to Russian pilots that they needed to depart from the area. A Pentagon spokesman said a verbal agreement was made between Washington and Moscow over the deconfliction zone in early November. But the US says Russian planes have flown into the area 6 to 8 times a day. It's becoming increasingly tough for our pilots to discern whether Russian pilots' actions are deliberate or they're just honest mistakes. Come on. At 6 to 8 times, Russia's fucking trolling your ass. You know it's not just some mistake. Nobody goes into airspace they know they're not supposed to be in and be like 8 to 6 times a day and be like, yeah, let's go over there. It's like, oh, what's this? America's calling us on the radio?
It's called, they're just buzzing them, pissing them off. It's another one of those like EPing tactics you do in the air as fighter pilots. Just like, ha, trolling.
Yeah. I mean, Russia has a history of doing that with like our aircraft carriers.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's like I told you about over Alaska. We go fly over their airspace all the time. They go fly over our airspace in Alaska. We literally do it back and forth. They all over the world. We just fuck with everybody. To be fair, part of it's probably because our airmen and shit are bored as fuck in those places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, the fuck are you gonna do in Alaska? Honestly. And same thing with Russia. The fuck are you gonna do in Russia on that side of the coast? On the eastern side of Russia?
Yeah.
The fuck are you gonna do in the eastern side
There's
of Russia?
nothing there. I mean,
the
closest major city is like Vladivostok.
Yep.
I love the name of the city.
Yep.
It's my favorite city in Russia.
Vladivostok.
Nice. It's a perfect name.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Washington and Moscow agreed to have some 43 miles of the Euphrates River as a de facto demarcation line between their air operations, but over recent weeks, Russian jets have frequently crossed into the airspace on the eastern side. The firing of flares by the U.S. aircraft in the latest episode is not an offensive action, but one intended to underline their presence, after which it appears the Russian aircraft withdrew. But it's a worrying sign of the growing potential for accident or misunderstanding. Yeah, definitely.
So that's another thing, actually, that I want to point out.
Then again, Turkey was able to shoot down a Russian jet and they didn't get bombed.
Who did?
Turkey.
Yeah. Well, because the Turkey is trying to be, the Russians are trying to be friends with Turkey. That's why. Correct?
Well, Turkey and Russia have had a interrelated relationship for quite a long time.
Yeah.
That was a major source of income for Turkey, was tourism from Russia.
Yeah. But anyway, so I want to give you some insight on this whole flare thing. I believe as for dogfighting of jets, the military, either that or it's for their fucking helicopters. They fire flares as they fire like locked on rockets and missiles and things as they fire their armament in case they were because they have to hold still for a lock ish, and so the other person might have a lock on them. It's a standard tactic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so doing that might be just kind of like, hey, we're locked. That could have been a missile, that kind of thing. Do what?
Yeah, pretense to war.
Yep. The hell? Anyway. Alright, so now on to tech news.
On to, of course, the biggest of tech news.
The biggest of tech news. The news that everybody here on any of these streaming networks should know. Good old net neutrality. Alright. SEC repeals net neutrality rules. The Federal Communications Commission voted on Thursday to dismantle rules regulating the businesses that connect consumers to the internet, granting broadband companies the power to potentially reshape Americans' online experiences. The agency scrapped the so-called net neutrality regulations that prohibited broadband providers from blocking websites or changing for higher quality service or certain content. The federal government will also no longer regulate high-speed internet delivery as if it were a utility like phone service. Well, as it is a utility, usually coupled with phone service like AT&T, or with TV or something of the sort.
Mm-hmm.
It will take weeks for the repeal to go into effect, thankfully, so consumers will not see any of the potential changes right away. But the political and legal fight started immediately. The commissioner's chairman, Ajit Pai, vigorously defended the repeal before the vote. Okay, so the rollback of the rules would eventually benefit consumers. Highly doubtful, since I've watched these companies fuck over consumers all of my life. They went from having decent deals to just fucking everybody over all the time. Anyway, he said the rollback of the rules will eventually benefit customers because broadband providers like AT&T and Comcast, who are some of the biggest dicks in the industry, could offer them a wider variety of service options, which they already do, but they're expensive. And they lie to you all the time. At least AT&T. Yeah. I personally dealt with AT&T on a IT level, dealing with them on the business side, which is shit. And I've also dealt with them on the consumer side, which is equally shit. I've never had a good experience with AT&T. Then you go to their mobile side. Their mobile side shit. My mom still has claims against her. And so I don't think I told you about this. Somebody is claiming their my mom's phones under insurance, and they keep claiming it every day. And they've come in on multiple times, the AT&T company, and she's told them to holds on her account. Nobody can use it without her special password that she's updated, and without using her license. And she said that she now has to go. She was only accepting going to the AT&T store in person and getting the request done. And they still keep making claims, and people are still accepting them. And she was told by these people that there's miles, 50 pages of notes on her accounts of red flags, and people at fucking AT&T, wherever, keep giving people phones under her name.
So what exactly is going on? You're saying they're claiming insurance, but what does that mean?
They're claiming that her phone that she's using is defunct and dead, and they're just sending out new phones to this person. And they keep doing it. And my mom's bill keeps going up because of it, and she's she was always wondering why her bill was never right. Well, now they finally told her. And then she continues to say, hey, stop, approving these things. And they're continuing to approve them. Mm-hmm. Even after all these notes. And just like she says, all of these people can see all of the notes on the account. And why people aren't stopping, they have no idea. My mom's actually beginning to think that it might be somebody within AT&T, which is plausible.
Yeah. At this point where it just doesn't get stopped.
Yeah. And it still happens. She said somebody made a claim on her phone again today or something like that, or yesterday. And she had taken care of that weeks ago.
That's when you get a lawyer and just motion to sue.
That's probably not a bad idea, but who's going to take on AT&T?
My lawyer will. If there's money in it, which there's money in this.
Well, they already agreed that they pay all of her money back. And they have.
No, that's not enough. You just don't accept just getting your money back. Not from AT&T. You want freaking...
Well, since it keeps going on, you can push that, hey, it's a issue or whatever. And that she's made multiple attempts to stop and they haven't. Either way, so that's my biggest gripe with AT&T. His 2 fellow Republican commissioners also supported the change, giving them a 3-2 majority. Well, fantastic. There's only 5 of them. And it's the Republicans versus the Democrats there.
Yep.
We are helping consumers and promoting competition, Mr. Pai said. No, you're not. Broadband providers will have more incentive to build networks, especially to underserved areas. Wrong. And let me tell you why. Because it's something I've looked into as we were in an underdeveloped area. The FCC has multiple, millions of dollars worth of grants to give out to people that offer broadband services, or at least broadband level services to rural areas. It's been around for I want to say it's been around since some of the early 2000s. I've looked into it. I wanted to start my own ISP to provide internet to this area because this area counted. So I know it's bullshit, and it's just bad. I'm not going to say that these companies are going to come out and fuck us outright in the ass, but I'm going to assume it's coming. I mean, slowly I've watched AT&T go from all of their broadband plans used to have no data cap. Every single one of AT&T's plans now has data cap of 1 terabyte. Every single one, except for the 1,000 by 1,000 gigabit internet that me and him both have on fiber, which is what we're streaming with right now. Which is ridiculous. I go through way too much data a month. I go through 24. Actually, yeah, I go through a couple hundred gigs per month.
Yeah, my average data usage.
Let me pull
is about I just got the bill for last month. It was 836 gigs.
Jeez. Yeah, we use loads of data per month.
Yeah, and that's not even downloading games. It's just mainly streaming videos and such. Mm-hmm. And if we can do that with 2.5 people, well, 3 people.
Oh, your family?
Yeah.
Mine's only me, and then him slightly, but mostly me.
Yeah. And that's nearly a full terabyte cap. Shit, I've broken a terabyte once or twice.
I've broken it a lot of times. I think monthly, I by myself do more than that. Let me bring up my bill right quick. Bring it up right now live. This is
fuck it, we'll do it live.
Pretty much. That's to just tell everybody that I am a giant internet slob. Probably not. It's taking forever to load up, so whatever. I'm going to continue reading.
Where's that high-speed gigabit?
Anyway, it's high-speed, but not wireless with this dongle, since we're also streaming. But anyway. Critics of change have said that consumers will have more difficulty accessing content online, and that startups will have to pay to reach consumers. Possibly. Yeah, I can't say that's going to be a bona fide fact, but that's what everybody's worried about, because they've already gotten to the point where they're monetizing everything.
They've done it.
Really? Oh,
yeah. No, I mean, there was a whole issue with Comcast where Comcast slowed down the bandwidth of Netflix, and Netflix had to pay them.
Yeah, and I would sue the shit out of them instead, honestly.
There was AT&T blocking FaceTime and Skype from their network.
Really?
AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint were blocking Google Wallet from their devices.
Interesting.
There's a long and noted history of companies violating net neutrality and ethics of net neutrality, and being sued and taken out by the FCC for breaking the law, for breaking rules.
Breaking the law.
And now the FCC has thrown that all away.
Yep.
Thanks, Ajit Pai, for destroying one of the greatest inventions man's ever made. Well, obviously, literally destroying it, but harming major infrastructure.
Oh, there's actually a Move My Service thing here. So, that reminds me. I contacted them today and was like, hey, I need service. And the lady's I was like, listen. It's they've retrenched the line within 1,000 meters of my house. I've had a fiber technician told me they could run me the cable. I was like, what's the deal? And she's like, well, we already offer service there. She's like, so it doesn't make sense the reason why they won't upgrade it, why they won't fix it. I was like, thank you. Somebody gets it. Even though it's digital cable versus fiber.
Yeah.
But it goes fiber all the way to the box and then it turns to digital cable or whatever, just anywhere else. And she's like, I will talk to my manager and see if we can put in my request. All right, we're going to put in a request. She's like, well, are you moving yet? And basically went through the thing, and it was like, yeah, I'll call you guys whenever I get my move out date so we can cancel my internet service. But it sounds like she put in a request. Maybe. Yeah. I'm hoping. I don't think anything's going to happen, mind you.
Probably not.
But I'm hoping. Either way.
And as we've also covered in previous stories, that part of what the net neutrality rules did was prevent service providers from simply cutting off service to rural areas that they no longer wanted to serve. AT&T and Verizon have been doing this for years now, until the 2015 rules, which stopped them from doing that if they failed a particular type of test. But according to the FCC, mobile is competition. So, you can't get DSL or whatever to your house? Well, as long as you have a cell phone provider, that's internet, there you go. That's what they say.
Today is the first day of my billing cycle, apparently.
Oh, what's your last bill?
So what my last billing cycle was. I didn't know that it was on the 14th. I guess it was on the 14th. 805 gigabytes.
You need to pump those numbers up, man. Those are rookie numbers. I was using 836 gigs.
Yeah, but you have 3 people. It's only me.
That's true.
It's pretty bad for me.
What the fuck do you do?
I don't know. Stream sometimes? Yeah, it's about 800 gigs.
I kind of wonder what our statistics look like from our 24-hour stream.
Apparently I didn't use any that month.
Didn't use any. 500 gigs.
105 gigs uploaded. And 427 gigs downloaded. Still a lot of data. Let's go to July.
When was our 24-hour stream?
I don't know. It was the last. See, there we go. There's 1,032. Yeah, tons of gigs usage here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And this is only me and one other guy in my house. So, yeah. It's a lot of data. If me and Kenneth live together, we probably use up way too much data. It's like me and anybody else. Anyway, Mignon Clyburn, one of the Democratic commissioners, presented 2 accordion folders full of letters protesting the changes. They accused the 3 Republican commissioners of defying the wishes of millions of Americans by ceding their oversight authority. Yes, which is exactly what we were all talking about.
Hell, it's in the
political channel.
It's in the fucking bylaws of the FCC that they have a duty and responsibility to protect, service and do best for the American people. They literally are going against their own bylaws.
Yeah, of course they are, because it's like the whole people in power trip thing. I'm in control. I do what I want, and everybody else just steals it. I know of a certain somebody that I met fairly recently, kind of like that. Tiki. Anyway, as she says in her quote, "I dissent because I'm among the millions outraged," end quote, says Ms. Clyburn. Outraged because the FCC pulls its own teeth, abdicating responsibility to protect the nation's broadband consumers. Brendan Carr, Republican commissioner, said it was a great day as he fisted everybody in the ass and dismissed critics' apocalyptic warnings.
It's like, oh, for sure, it's not a big deal, whatever.
Consumer groups,
you people, you American people,
you avocado toast loving millennials. Consumer groups, startups, and many small businesses said there have already been examples of net neutrality violations by companies, such as when AT&T blocked FaceTime on iPhones using its network. There we go.
So
this is a part of the thing I bitch about right here. Yes.
So, continuing our net neutrality, because that's what all tech is about, is net neutrality. ISP's disclosure about data caps and fees will be eliminated by the net neutrality repeal.
So basically, they don't have to tell you they're fucking you anymore.
Yeah, no.
And it's completely
You're just going to get a bill for $1,000, and they're going to be like, oh, that's supposed to be $100?
Did you give me that, did you let me borrow that hotspot last time you were here? I don't remember if I took it or not.
I don't know.
Because I know I was playing with it, we checked it. I think he gave it back to you, put it back in.
Yeah, I think we did.
Well, you'll look for it after the show. Because I was going to take it over there, and I was like, I don't know if I have it or not.
Anyways, hidden fees that show up on broadband bills after customers sign up for service have been long a source of internet users. Which is so true, because you're going to get the bill and they're like, oh, you sign up? Yeah, your bill's going to be, $60. And then you get it that first month and it's like...
In very small asterisk, there's a thing that says, you have a 1 gigabyte limit. It's not that bad, but it's realistically close to that.
Or, hey, state fees, taxes, various transmission fees or some bullshit.
I've seen that, yeah.
Because advertised prices often don't reflect the full cost of service, the FCC in 2015 forced ISPs to be more transparent with customers about hidden fees and consequences of exceeding data caps. Because that's the thing, especially with mobile phones. You have a 5 gig, 10 gig limit. When you go over that, bam, $10 a gig.
That's actually one of my most it's one of the things that pisses me off most about everything about these companies that say, oh yeah, where's this for the consumers? This is the kind of people that say you have unlimited data, but they only give you so much of high speed and they throttle you on phones, which is complete bullshit. Anybody that was grandfathered in, because they used to offer actual unlimited data back in the day when they didn't think it was anything. Before the corporate greed and capitalism greed set in. That's really what it's about. That's one of the things that bothers me most about, my whole preaching that money is the root of all evil and being pissed off all the time. Because, all these companies they do the same thing, they offer the same service that is always offered, but then they just find out a way to make more money for themselves. And then they don't improve anybody else's life with it. They don't improve the lives of their workers, they don't improve anything. They literally just make more money to make more money, which is annoying to no end to me. Somebody who doesn't really care about money and, rates money pretty low on my level of existence.
I mean, why would an ISP ever do anything good for the American people?
Why would they fuck everybody over? They have all the tools necessary to not fuck everybody over.
Because what are you gonna do? Go to a different ISP?
It's like the fucking South Park episode. Yeah. Oh, there is no other cable company, is there?
I want to speak to your manager. Oh, sorry. Did you actually want proper service?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
That's exactly how net neutrality is. I don't know why people aren't using that more as a meme for net neutrality.
They are.
Oh, they are? Good.
It's in use, yeah. Good. So, with the repeal, ISPs won't have to tell consumers exactly what everything will cost when they sign up, including things like the price of monthly service charge, any promotional rates, duration of the promotion, and the full monthly charge after the promotion ends. That's fees.
That's deceptive business practices in general. Then it should be able to fall under the FTC at that point. Because, that's one of those things I thought about, if they start doing stuff like that, doesn't that fall under deceptive business practices and false advertising?
Yes, kinda.
Kinda.
I'm sure the FTC might take a look at that.
They should, honestly.
Other fees, including one-time fees, reoccurring fees, surcharges, including to initiate, maintain, or discontinue services, as well as the cost of any names or definition changes, and each installation fee, modem fees, installation fees, service charges, or early termination fees. So, data caps. I don't have to tell you about any more data caps or caps allowances. So basically, on that little bill that says, you have a 1 terabyte data cap, or anything over your limit's going to be $1 $10 a gig. They don't have to tell you that anymore. And then you can be like, oh, well, I don't see on my bill that it's going to cost me anything if I go over. Let's go over. And then, bam, $100 extra bill.
I would hope they don't do that. If they started taking that out, and I feel like they would leave themselves open to be sued.
Not really. They don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, but then they're like, well, FCC net neutrality rules were repealed, so it's not illegal. It's you're still providing a service, and it's deceptive business practices.
No, they can still, as long as they have it somewhere on their website, they can get away with it. It may not be on the bill, but as long as it's somewhere there, they're technically disclosing it, even if it's in the finest print that's just 2 pixels tall.
Even if it's in the secret page, but it's still publicly accessible through a button click.
Pretty much. So, HI's proposed net neutrality repeal says those requirements and others adopted are too onerous for ISPs. Oh, yes, adding on an extra 2 lines of text in your bill. Oh, dear me. That's just too much, Disclosing the truth and what's actually going to happen to your bill to the people who are purchasing your services.
Oh, man, not lying to people's face is such a hard thing to do. Jesus Christ. And I wonder why people can't communicate.
And I wonder why Ajit Pai is so good at it.
I'm happy he got bullied on the internet.
After the repeal, ISPs will be able to block, throttle, and prioritize content in exchange for payment. They will have to disclose those activities on their websites, or by providing the information to the FCC, though they will not have to make these disclosures to the public at the point of sale. So basically,
this
that
is
means
what's
they can
going to
tell
be
them.
stupider about this. So they're going to fuck everybody 2 times. They're going to fuck over the companies who want their services to be on the fast lane by paying a lot of money, and then they're probably going to turn around and tell the consumer, if the consumer wants that service, they have to pay money.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be giving it to you in the front and the back.
And as long as they tell the FCC this is what we're prioritizing, this is what we're blocking, they're covered.
That's so AIDS.
Which means
it's like one of those things. I told Barney, like he should use his insane capital that he has just lying around from quote unquote real jobs that he works, and then just pay us and we'll become the new Australian ISP. Yeah, but it's like that here. You might see a rise. Hopefully, you'd see a rise in people with their own startups because, well, under the deceptive business practices, you might be able to just buy out bandwidth from AT&T and them.
These are the largest companies in the world.
Doesn't matter. You can still buy bandwidth from them and resell it, just like everybody. I just saw any other ISP.
There's no legal requirement that they have to offer that.
Yeah, but there's
yes and no. Well, there's what they call in the business is the last mile, which basically means that some ISPs will offer. It's like, yeah, you can use the majority of our network, but that last mile, you have to get that to that person's home. And that last mile is usually very costly in the city because you have to get so many legal requirements through and such. It's usually quite a hassle if you don't have a lot of money to do it.
Now I'm thinking about contractors for fiber. I could actually, I'm going to email that lady who was talking about the fiber for the school district.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if she can get contractors to give me a bid on fiber to my mom's house. That's not a bad idea.
But I thought they were going to do, power over electricity internet.
What are you talking about?
Jackson Electric.
No, that's what Jackson Electric said. No. I was talking about getting those, because she runs with a bunch of contractors. She's a contractor that runs fiber and stuff. So getting her contractors to put in a bid to AT&T so they can't keep chingling me saying, well, we contact our contractors. Nobody wants to go out there and do that. I'm like, I don't think that's true. A contractor will go anywhere as long as they're paid.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea, definitely. That's what they do, and they already work with AT&T. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. That's good. No, the power over Ethernet, remember we figured out it wasn't over Ethernet. It is, but isn't. It's, they go to it bounces off wherever the towers are, and it goes into a little pole right next to your house.
And it's also really shitty.
What?
Yeah.
It's better than what AT&T offers.
It's better than what AT&T offers, yes, but it's still shitty. I mean, you're better off with what we're planning on doing.
I know. It just needs to happen. I need to go to your house and bring a chainsaw and a pole saw, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, that reminds me.
Bring climbing shoes and climb up a fucking pine tree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to go look. Well, if you strap it to a pine tree, you don't have to worry about tying it down either.
No, until a hurricane brings it down.
The hurricane's not going to bring down your pine tree, probably. Trees are super rooted. Unless,
and it's an old tree.
Unless the city floods like it was supposed to that one time, and then we have high winds. Then yeah, it'll probably go down because the ground will be wet enough and soak through enough that it can fall over.
Yeah.
But other than that, nah, don't see it happening.
Yes. Yeah, well, come by tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm sure you're not doing anything.
Thanks, Kenneth. I'm sure you're not doing anything. What a dick! I mean, you're not wrong. Anyway. I read that a minute ago. There's just shit talking for that. Roll the video, Kronk. Alright, we have another video here provided by this man.
So, Attorney General Schneiderman of New York will sue to stop the illegal rollback of net neutrality.
Hi, I'm New York State Attorney General Eric Schneiderman. As we speak, the FCC has just voted to gut net neutrality. Today's vote is an early Christmas gift to big telecom companies, and it means that internet service providers have yet another way to put corporate profits over consumers. Today's rollback will give ISPs new ways to control what we see, what we do, and what we say online. This new rule would enable ISPs to charge consumers more to get access to social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, and give them the leverage to degrade high-quality video streaming until and unless someone pays them more money to clean it up. Even worse, today's vote would enable ISPs to favor certain viewpoints over others. Even if they promise not to do any of these things today, there will be no rule against them changing those promises down the road. New Yorkers deserve a free and open internet, and that's why my office will sue to stop the FCC's illegal rollback of net neutrality. We will be filing a claim to preserve protections for New Yorkers and all Americans, and will be working aggressively to stop the FCC's leadership from doing any further damage to the internet and our economy. 7 months ago, my office began investigating a flood of fake comments submitted to the FCC.
This is the part you were telling me about the other day.
Yes, this is the part we've actually covered last week.
This dude looks like his eyes are like really. He looks rough.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure dealing with the FCC would make anybody look rough.
Listening to Ajit Pai just makes my brain melt.
Mm-hmm. Makes me want to smash something into his face.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah. Just messing shit to Ajit Pai. Yeah, so basically, he's Attorney General Schneiderman. He's doing fantastic work to defend the American people and net neutrality at the same time. One of the things you definitely want to check out is you want to go to the to New York State's Attorney General's website, and on that they have a page where you can go see if comments have been put in under your name.
Where's that at? Is this the original page?
It's not in there. It's just what you can just check it. Just do the just New York State Attorney General.
And then it is ag.ny.gov. This thing.
Yep. Let's see, on here somewhere should be
resource center.
No.
This is Obviously Services. For data breach spotlight, Fox, right?
Wait, scroll down. You may just need to Google it real quick.
There's going to be the resource center. Data search, breach information. Find an attorney option. That's a good one.
Go to file a consumer complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down. Complaint form. There it is. The Bureau of Internet and Technology. Online complaint form.
Oh, click that?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm trying to figure out where it is. Nope, that's it. Actually, yes, it is. Scroll up. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Well, find it somewhere. Okay.
Bureau of Research.
Yeah, folks, just FCC complaints. Add FCC into that. Here it is. Fake comments right there. So go to https://ag.ny.gov/fake comments, and like if you do what he's doing right there, and you type in your name, which now you all know his name.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll stream it anywhere else. Let's see if anybody's used my name.
Refresh the page. Oh, there it is. So, let's see, because there's a couple David Shepard's, there's like one at the top.
There's a ton of these. Strong support neutrality.
So I click on that one? Let's see. Well, that's not you.
Definitely not me. That's something I would say, though.
Mm-hmm. See, can you sort it by anything? No.
Filter names.
I guess filtered by David Shepard.
Tech filers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there's 18 of them.
Is there 18?
Let's see. It's like open up the new tabs, that way you don't keep using this page. Let's see if we can find you here.
Where would it say? I guess it would just say the town.
Yeah, you just say like your address. Okay, let's just see from that badge.
Let's see. Alright, so.
Nope.
Nope. Close.
Mm-hmm.
Represents an unprecedented increase in control.
Yeah, and that's the carbon copy freaking message that is like copied and pasted on freaking 1,000,000+ comments.
Disseminated Deer Park, which is another
one in Houston. Which is
that's basically
the same message, yeah.
Oh god.
Somebody actually supporting net neutrality?
Mesa.
This is something against.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Because if you pull up my name, it comes up with 2 comments that are very anti-net neutrality, which is clearly not my stance.
He's sick of the net neutrality. Don't let him fool you. Just trying to see if my
yes, I'm secretly a shield for the big ISPs.
I believe it. Cannonsburg, Fallbrook, DeRitter. Oh, Bay City. There I am.
Introducing the wealthiest leftist billionaires and powerful Silicon Valley monopolies took the internet out of the hands of the people and placed it firmly under the thumb of the federal government.
It definitely doesn't sound like something I'd file. Apparently I filed this June 2nd, 2017.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was talking about, is that they have bots. Some people say the Russian bots.
I'm assuming this is from AT&T. I'm going to make the assumption, because that's the only people that we both have our information.
Okay, it could be. Who knows? I mean, then again, with all the data breaches that have gone on, your information's out there.
That too, but still. I just find that funny.
Yeah.
If there's another one. Oh, there's another one!
Yep. And it's the same one. Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's filed twice. This one was in May 2017.
Because there's been 2 rounds of...
How is it received? Okay, so it was received and then posted. Okay.
Yeah. Nope.
Mesa.
Nope.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
What is this? This is a fucking failed...
Yeah, the little script broke.
Yep. Colleen. Bacon Ranch. That's a funny road name. Somerville and Las Vegas. So yes, I exist in here.
So if you pull up my name, you'll see the 2 comments. I know people on the internet will know my name.
Where do I search filings? Go back to this.
Yeah, you may just want to just...
Yeah. Well, if the girl not back with us, let's just start from here. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is? This is pretty cool. I like this little doodly. So yes, I was used somewhere.
Yes, and if you have been used somewhere...
oh my fucking god, why would you say that? I know, right?
It's definitely recommended that you file a complaint with...
Yeah, I love how, my name's so common, it is just literally 2. Let's see.
Before leaving office, the Obama administration...
I love that one.
It
rammed
through
a
massive scheme to give federal government broad regulatory control over the internet.
I'm surprised that you're here watching whichever tape show you are. I forget, honestly. One of the 2.
What's the other comment?
Are you the one that wants to fucking do IT stuff with me? We need to do things. Have you gotten a job? Are you the other one? I don't remember. I don't remember if you're Colin or Garrett. I forget your guys' names, even though they have 2 different names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is you, obviously. There's a character that also popped up on that one.
The free market was an incredible engine of economic growth. innovation and job creation. Since 1990, has been substantially slowed by the 2015 net neutrality
make any
rules.
sense remotely. Yours is posted the same times as mine was.
Well, yeah, because there were 2 rounds of FCC filings, which was in the beginning of May and then like mid-August.
Damn.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna seriously blame AT&T though. Oh, you're Garrett. Alright. So you're not the jobless one. Is he still jobless? Do you guys even talk? I mean, you're both brothers. I don't know.
But yeah, I filed a complaint with the New York Attorney General's office. Not that he can do anything because I'm in Texas and he's only there for the citizens of New York, but it adds to his case.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Where is he thinking of this one? Shaman?
In the public comment period for net neutrality. We've now found at least 2 million fake comments that use the stolen identities of people across the country, including 100,000 New Yorkers. We asked the FCC to help in our investigations, but waited months to hear back. I called on the FCC to delay today's vote and help us with an investigation into the corrupted rulemaking process. FCC leadership pushed ahead with their vote today anyway and ignored the massive scam that corrupted the public record.
Yeah.
This is more than an attack on the future of our internet as we know it. It's a travesty for anyone who cares about the integrity of their voice in government.
I don't think so.
The rules weren't overturned because of the fake comments. The rules were overturned because you have a Republican bot known by the big ISPs and big business whose job and sole responsibility was to destroy these rules.
Yeah. I mean, Ajit Pai had worked in the past as Verizon's, lawyer, right?
Yeah, he was a lawyer. That's so cute.
Yeah. And so he's been against net neutrality before he even got put into office.
Yeah.
It's like Trump putting all of these people into office for their specific
specifically to kill these.
Yeah, to kill
like
these
the head of the
groups.
the EPA, Scott Pruitt, a man who tried to sue the EPA a couple dozen times to try and kill it. Rick Perry in charge of the energy to push like coal and shit versus renewables. Fucking Nikki Haley as the UN secretary to the United States secretary to the UN. She don't know shit about international policy.
So much fucking shit. She sucks. Yes, very much so. Yeah, we talk all the time, and yes, he is jealous. Tell him to hit me up, man. Me and him were supposed to go eat lunch at some point. I mean, I've still been jobless this whole time. He wants to, like, shadow me and come watch me do IT things.
It's not going to be very interesting.
Thanks.
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, I mean,
IT work's not super interesting. I'm not saying you're not
he likes it because he was doing it for a while. It's interesting the people that do it. I mean, I could have shown him what the hell was going on at that place when I figured it out. Because I don't think he would. That's not something he would pick up on. That's not something I even picked up on until I looked at it and I was like, well, I know what's wrong, but
yeah.
I didn't even think that was what was wrong. I had to, to be fair, I can only go off what I'm told. And the people that used to work on those systems, I wouldn't even fucking listen to their opinion at all, honestly. After what I saw, half the people in Basic's opinions on anything tech related, I can't trust anything they say.
No.
To be real here. Anyway. So yeah, there we go. Isn't it your turn?
Yeah.
No. This is my turn. Washington will keep net neutrality in state if FCC won't for the nation, Inslee says. Washington will enforce its own version of net neutrality. See, this is one of the things I was going to say as I started seeing popping up. Is some state senators are like trying to keep their own stuff within their state boundaries. And
I don't know if they're actually going to be able to. Because as we covered about 2 weeks ago, is that the big ISPs are trying to get the FCC to pass another piece of rulings.
I was going to say legislator, but it's not legislator.
But a ruling from them saying that only the FCC can control net neutrality and bar the states from implementing their own version of net neutrality.
Because, they don't want net neutrality to exist at all, so they can continue to ram people in the ass for nobody. Washington will enforce its own version of net neutrality if the Federal Communications Commission votes Thursday to change national rules, which it did, Governor Jay Inslee said Wednesday. Standing with a bipartisan group of lawmakers, tech executives, and State Attorney General Bob Ferguson, Inslee said internet service providers that restrict access, block content, or change varying rates to different customers can find themselves facing sanctions from the state. Good. The state could bring consumer protection actions against ISPs that take those steps. Could refuse to contract with those that aren't net neutral, or could ask the Utilities and Transportation Commission to deny them access to utility poles and work with public utility districts to provide internet services in areas they serve, he said. That's true, they can.
You know, I really want to see Washington become their own ISP. Seattle? Become your own ISP. You're Seattle. You could do it.
I just think it's funny. It's like, fuck you guys, we'll deny you access to the polls. And it's like, well, I guess they can.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, just today I was reading a story. 17 more Colorado municipalities are looking at building their own internet service.
That's pretty good.
And as you all know, or you may not know, Colorado has some of the fastest speeds in the United States at very good rates provided by their municipalities.
Really?
Yep. They actually have the recognized fastest internet in the country in Colorado, I believe.
Faster than our gigabit?
Well, it is gigabit, but I think it's cheaper. A lot cheaper.
I mean, Google's fiber was about as cheap as we get it. It's a little bit cheaper, but...
I think it's like $20 cheaper. Well, you pay like $10 less than I do. Which is very annoying.
Yeah, it's that promotion, baby.
Yeah, she's like, can I get in on that promotion? Fuck.
Probably not anymore. Oh yeah, aren't our internet, like with it, after the year goes up, our internet bills go up to like 100 and something?
Nope.
Yeah,
that's
what
mine said. Mine says it's a lifetime thing.
Oh no, well, there you go. Here's a lifetime. Mine's only temporary. But I won't have it for the whole year anyway.
That's true.
I'm supposed to actually have to pay charges, but I think I can get around it by saying, well, since you guys can't move me service to where I have an AT&T address, it's your fault.
Yep.
Anyway, dicks. Sarah Bird, Chief Executive Officer of the Seattle-based internet marketing and analytics company Moz.com, said smaller tech companies might be shut out of the preferable rates and faster speeds that ISPs offer the largest companies. You're going to have ghettoized internet, she predicted. That is a terrible, terrible analogy.
Not really.
But accurate.
It's apt.
Yes.
I mean, the ghettos are terrible places where not a lot of services are provided. It's generally poor quality.
They're poor quality service. How dare you? Yes.
I provide the highest qualities of services. Only occasionally. So, it's actually kind of interesting. An intentional event redirects cloud traffic from Apple, Google, and others through Russia. So, people in Russia fucking around. Internet traffic coming into and out of Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and other companies was briefly redirected through a Russian provider on Wednesday in what appears to have been a deliberate move. The incident...
Question here. Where was it routed through and how? How did it go through the internet?
I'm explaining. The incident involved the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP, which funnels high-level traffic through nodes like internet backbones. Citing reports by monitoring services BGP-Mon and Quator Labs, BGP-Mon recorded 2 3-minute hijacks affecting 80 address blocks in total. So it sounds like somebody's manipulating the protocols to redirect traffic out of the backbone through a different provider and then back in.
Sounds like a...
Quasi-man.
Sounds like a test.
Yeah, definitely sounds like it.
If it was the actual deal, the scale would be much larger.
Yeah. For some reasons of suspicion include prominence of the impacted companies and the fact that the IP addresses were split into smaller blocks than those announced by the companies. So clearly that means somebody had insider knowledge that they knew to target specific blocks. Something that normally doesn't happen with a BGP configuration error. The autonomous Russian system that performed the hijack, known as AS39523, was previously inactive for years, except for another BGP incident in August that involved Google. It is unknown what might have been done with the data, or if the latest redirect was deliberate, since much of it or all of it would have been protected by encryption that has yet to be defeated, at least according to public knowledge. That's pretty damn interesting. It kind of also makes you wonder why more people aren't doing it, but also whoever or whatever group, I'm assuming Russia, the government carried it out. Seems to be an MO for them to target big tech companies. So I assume Russia did the attack.
Huh?
So I assume Russia did it.
Oh, obviously. It's pulling the Russian servers. That's obvious.
Because, I mean...
Russia owns Russian internet.
I don't know if some general hacking group would have the technical skills to do this. You need, probably particular hardware and particular access to very sensitive systems.
Well, to pay fair, Russian hackers do have access to the hardware and the things they need. However, being able to do a switch like that is probably backed by the government, realistically.
Yeah, of course.
Good.
Yeah, of course. Anyways.
Anyways, BGP. That one protocol that I have halfly ever heard of. Good stuff. Maker of Sneaky Mac adware sends security researcher cease and desist letters. Interesting. What?
Yeah.
The maker of a sneaky adware that hijacks users' browser and server ads is back with a new, more advanced version. One that can gain root privileges and spy on the user's activities. The adware, dubbed osx.pirate, is still highly active, infecting tons of thousands of Macs, according to Arnett Server, who has tracked the malware and its different versions for over a year. The short version is that the adware, built by Israeli ad tech firm Targeting Edge, poses a legitimate installer like a video player or document reader. Like other software, the installer asks for the user pass to install, tricking the user into turning over root privilege to the installer. Once it's hooked into the system, the installer uses a script to download further components from the adware's command and control server. The report said that the files used to maintain the adware's persistence on the infected Mac tries to mask themselves as legitimate Mac OS functions.
Oh my gosh, of course.
What?
ISP.
Where's that? Is that on Imgur?
Yeah.
You're welcome. Save it. We're doing it.
I'm saving and favoriting it.
Good.
I'm putting it into information. So I have nice folders for everything.
I don't use Imgur, so I don't know jack shit about it.
Well, it only took me 4, 6, 10 years to make folders.
Anyway, use macOS tryhard from the victim. What's new in this version is the adware uses macOS as native scripting language, AppleScript, of course, typically reserved for automation, to inject ads directly into the browser, rather than a proxy server that can be easily removed. Targeting Edge sent cease and desist letters to try to prevent Serper from publishing his research. Why? How? What? No. I don't think that's how that works. We've received several letters over the past 2 weeks. Serper told ZDNet. We decided to publish it anyway because we're sick of shady adware companies and their threats. He said osx.pirate is malware with a legal team. When asked why the company sent a cease and desist letter, the lawyer said it never required Mr. Serper to not publish its report. ZDNet independently verified the contents of the cease and desist letter, which contradict the company's statement. Ha! That's pretty funny. Next. Yeah, Kenneth.
I was reading about how to make an ISP.
It's not that hard, is it?
It costs tons of money, actually.
Alright, so startup capital. Got it. How much money is tons?
Probably about 150. Okay.
That's not that bad.
At a minimum.
That's not that bad. You know, you can get a grant from the FCC. Or whoever.
It did say you could get grants.
Huh?
I said it did say you could get grants.
And since, technically most of the city, it has to be 15% of the city has to have broadband speeds. It still kind of works.
Well, not really, because the city does have it.
No.
I mean, they may not be in active use, but it is provided by...
It depends on the FCC's old maps, though. If the old maps don't have updated information, you can still go off their old systems.
Oh, that's true, I guess.
That's what all the maps currently still say on their website when I look into it.
Anyways,
you thought you killed my cat?
No.
No.
I just fucked someone. So, Russia could cut off internet to NATO countries, British military chief warns. Russia could pose a major threat to the UK and other NATO nations by cutting underwater cables essential for international commerce and the internet. The chief of British Defence Staff,
The transatlantic...
the transatlantic fiber cables.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Stuart Peach has warned. No, he's a knight of the realm. As is Sir Patrick Stewart. Russian ships have been regularly spotted close to the Atlantic cables that carry communications between the United States.
Didn't they drop depth charges over it? We covered a story on that at some point, I think. I heard about
I know we've talked about the NSA and UK and government trying to tap into the underwater fiber cables, which they did. Which is why ISPs are now encrypting traffic across the underwater cables.
I should just be encrypting traffic 24/7. What are you laughing at?
Your cat is just...
She does that. She gets hyper.
Yes, this is a new risk to our prosperity and way of life. To the cables that Chris... I imagine if Russia did cut these sea cables, there would be war. If Russia cut the sea cables. That would be like an instant declaration of war. Like the United States, all of Europe would be fucking dropping bombs on their asses.
Well, like I said, this came up before, and we talked about how if they cut the transatlantic cable, Russia would be fucked too.
Well, it depends. Russia's large enough; they might have cables running all the way from Vladivostok across to Moscow.
No, but I'm saying that's not the internet. That's an intranet.
Well, it's the backbone of the internet.
Half of it.
A lot of it.
I'm saying, because isn't the transatlantic cable the only connection between the two continents?
Let's just bring up a map and we can see. I don't think it's the only connection, but I think it's one of the main connections. Because it all goes into
We've done this before live, too.
Yeah, it all goes into London, I think. You need the transatlantic fiber cables.
There we go. We buy 1,000 feet of fiberglass for fucking $136 single month.
What's that pre-terminated fiber optic cable?
Which one? This one?
Yeah, no, the one. Yeah, that.
The $1.50.
The $1.50. Yes, it's even plain.
Base price. Additional perfect price. 1,000. What?
Oh, there you go. Holy shit.
Terminate 6 fiber multimodal cable with LC connection on both ends. How much is that? 1,745? $1,000 for 1,000 feet of cable. That's almost, per foot. We used an interactive map that was like this one, basically.
So as you can see, there's quite a number of lines that they would have to cut.
Well, realistically, all of these lines, this bundle right here is the transatlantic cable that realistically goes between there and there. So this is the internet backbone infrastructure of the United States, which
here's...
Is that interactive map?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Submarinecablemap.com. So actually, there's quite a number of cables you'd have to cut.
Yeah.
The majority of the cables... Let's see. I believe that... Yeah, they go into London.
Yeah, a lot of them do go into the UK.
Yeah. And the UK connects to Portugal, which connects to the rest of Africa. Portugal's really important.
Portugal.
Well, I mean, there's even fiber lines running out to the Azore Islands, which is surprising.
I like how there's fiber lines that run through the water They just bounce along the coast for some reason. It's so weird.
Well, there's major cities along there.
I know, but why go through the coast instead of through, like, ground or whatever? I guess it's just easier.
It's just cheaper. Yeah. If you click on them, does it tell you anything about them?
There's weird fiber lines down here at the bottom of South America.
Yeah. That actually does tell you what they are.
Yeah, so this whole submarine cable lists on the side here.
Mm-hmm. Cable length 7,000 kilometers. Owners level 3.
Yeah, a lot of the owners of the cables are level 3.
Yeah, Google should have some cables running there.
Vodafone.
Let me see. Actually, can I see all of Google's cables that they own? Let's see. No, surprisingly I don't. I guess that's not an option? Question mark? But anyways, I still think it's really interesting that the Azores actually have fiber. Considering they're an island.
Who is?
The Azore Islands.
Mm.
It's actually where my grandmother comes from. On my dad's side. She's Portuguese from the Azores. And then of course you have the American lines that go to Japan.
That's Hawaii, dude.
No. I'm talking about the lines that go from there to Japan.
Oh.
I know what Hawaii is and what Japan is.
Yeah. Nippon.
Anyways, this is interesting.
Yeah. Australia's fiber mainly goes into
Asia.
Into Malaysia. Yeah. And then the other one, a couple of them go, like, they bounce off through all these islands and go into Hawaii.
Yeah. That's why Australian internet's terrible.
That's why Barn's terrible. That's why I think it's better connection with these kids in California because it's closer than us in Texas.
Yeah.
Texas. Alright, yeah, there you go.
Yes, so the warning came a fortnight after the center-right think tank Policy Exchange issued a report saying that 97% of global communications and about 10 trillion in daily financial transactions were being transmitted through such cables. The report, written by MP Rishiki Sunak, cited U.S. intelligence officials speaking about Russian submarines aggressively operating near the Atlantic cables. Sunak added that when Russia annexed Crimea in 2013, an early move was to cut the main cable connecting it to the rest of the world. Which makes sense. Nobody can post the atrocities you're committing on the people if they don't have internet access.
Good point.
The UK, the US, and other NATO countries have been warning of the danger posed by Russia since the Crimea invasion, although a full-scale invasion by Russia of the Baltic states or elsewhere in Eastern Europe is unlikely. The Russian leader Vladimir Putin has steadily sought to reassert this country's place in the world. And like we've said, he's trying to reestablish the USSR. In a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Peach cited a battle in eastern Ukraine in 2014 that spooked NATO planners. He said Russian artillery working with drones had wiped out two brigades of the Ukrainian army within minutes.
To be fair, the Ukrainian army was kind of a joke for an army.
He also cited how the UK Typhoons had intercepted Russian aircrafts operating close to UK airspace and how the UK had provided planes to support Romania and Estonia. Interesting.
We cover the news here. This is the Thursday News Talk Show. Right now we're covering...
Well, we just finished up covering how Russia's threatening the transatlantic fiber cables. But yes, generally we cover the news every Thursdays. He covers an anime show with another friend of ours called High Kick.
On Tuesdays.
And we also stream games.
Yep, and then everything in between is just games. I choose to stream kind of randomly. I used to have a good schedule, but sometimes I feel like half the shit I'm doing is boring as hell, so I don't feel like streaming. I think that's just how it is. Oh, thank you for the follow, Cabo.
Yes,
I wish the... Doesn't it come up? I think it'll come up eventually.
It's supposed to. Anyways.
On to stupid and crazy news. Let's stop here.
Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous.
Pretty ridiculous.
Only sometimes. Only sometimes.
Sometimes. This one I find funny. Surgeon admits marking his initials on patients' livers during transplant ops. That's kind of funny. A surgeon has admitted burning his initials into the livers of 2 transplant patients. Okay. With a laser beam. Consultant Simon Bramall, 53, branded SB on the organs of a man and a woman undergoing transplant operations.
I mean, that's fucking ridiculous.
Liver surgeons use an argon beam to stop the liver's bleeding, but can also use the beam to burn the surface of the liver to sketch out the area of operation. That's kind of funny. It is usually not harmful, and the marks would normally disappear. But the female patient's liver did not heal itself in the normal way, and the initials were found in a follow-up operation. It is alleged. Judge Paul Farrer, maybe Farrer, it might be Farrer, I don't know, allowed Bramall to stand in front of the dock in the will of the court, as the surgeon pleaded guilty to assaulting a patient whose name is protected by a court order during an operation in August 2013. The pleas of guilty now entered represent an acceptance that which he did was not just ethically wrong, but criminally wrong, Mr. Van Midge told the court. They reflect the fact that Dr. Bramall's initialing on a patient's liver was not an isolated incident, but rather a repeated act on 2 occasions. Requiring some skill and concentration, it was done in the presence of colleagues.
Yeah. That's a ridiculous thing.
Malpractice.
Definitely malpractice.
I don't know if it's malpractice if it doesn't hurt you.
Well, I mean, clearly, the woman's liver didn't heal like it was supposed to. And that's a good enough grounds to say it was because of what he did.
I suppose.
And you could get away with that argument.
You could.
I mean, what the fuck was he thinking? And also, did the people and doctors around him really not notice? Yes, this is real. This actually happened.
Of course I noticed. How could you not notice that? Well, I don't know. You might not have known exactly what it was doing, but you noticed some weird shit was going on.
Yeah.
I'm sure they noticed after they saw the name in there. You want some more?
No. Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Steve doesn't want any more.
Oh, this is kind of funny. So, Jeremy Curley blames failed drug test on a ghost, entering the Bad Drug Test Excuse Hall of Fame.
Beautiful.
Upon returning to the Jets following a 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing drugs, he continued to express confusion in how he failed the drug test. I don't know, Curley said. There's a lot of ghosts around here. Ghosts put it in there. You know, the ghost of Christmas past. I don't know.
How high is this man?
Too high. And also, a really funny thing also happened very recently. A nude man busted after crashing on a roadway in Fairfax County. Fairfax County police have arrested a man that could have been involved in a car crash on southbound Route 28 in Herndon, Virginia.
That's where Greenpeace people are. That's where he lives.
That led to the closure of a roadway Tuesday afternoon. Around 3:30 p.m., police said they received a call about a crash and a man possibly involved seen fleeing the scene without his clothes on. The crash and search for the man in a nearby wooded area caused southbound Route 28 to close traffic. According to police, one of the drivers involved in the crash had gotten out of his car and assaulted another driver involved in the impact. The suspect undressed, police said, and then jumped into a passing vehicle on Route 28. The suspect caused damage to the vehicle, got off, and ran from the scene. The man was later found in Dulles International Airport property and arrested Tuesday night. And we're going to show a video of one of those scenes where he was jumping on a car.
Beautiful.
speeding up on a truck.
Why is he being in the truck?
Because he's crazy.
That's pretty cool. Pretty crazy.
Freaking insane people.
Insane in the membrane. Alright. Police, getaway
For
car.
our final story of the evening.
Getaway car ran out of gas after robbery. 2 arrested. Police say a getaway car ran out of gas after an armed robbery near Atlanta, leading to the speedy arrest of 2 suspects. Gwinnett County Police Corporal Michelle Piera, Jesus, that name, okay, says 18-year-old Naji Logan and 21-year-old Justin Larry were charged with armed robbery after the arrest early Tuesday after officers found the car on empty. Piera's statement says the victims surrendered a wallet to 2 men at gunpoint in a grocery store parking lot about 1 a.m. Tuesday in a greater Atlanta suburb. Police say officers found the car about 15 minutes later with Logan and Larry inside. I want to point out, this is a Larry, and we just had a Curly. We just needed Mo here. That's all we needed. We would have had the 3 students.
Well, we got Maz.
Huh?
We got Maz.
I mean, I guess it's close enough. But we have a Curly, and we have a Larry, and that's the last name.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You know, if they rob somebody, and their car ran out of gas, you would think they would have left the vehicle. You know, you would think
somebody would have picked them up. Who knows?
I mean, maybe, but I don't know. Get walking or some shit. Get walking.
Get Christopher walking.
Because you knew the police were coming after you. I don't know. These are just stupid people. I mean, first off,
stupid and crazy.
You're just stupid and crazy, so they fit the bill.
Oh, most definitely. But anyway, folks, this is all we have for tonight.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on Table Talk Thursday, episode 36.
Yep.
Join us again next week as we continue covering the news in the world, and join us on Tuesday for the Anime Talk Show with Harvey Brother and his co-host Highcat.
Make sure to check us out as long as the net neutrality remains and we don't get throttled here on the net. And eventually, I'm sure we'll have things figured out by then.
We will figure. We're going through some technical difficulties as we move location to a different location.
We're going through moving difficulties. Actually.
Yes, so we will be working on getting everything set up as best we can to prevent any delays of the show.
Yep.
But thank you again, and join us next week.